Hello, hello. Good to see you all as the time comes to engage in the verse. There are many verses like it, but this one is mine. Good day indeed. What up, fam? It's about time to get into some Star Citizen. We're about to hop in, but we're also going to check out the Inside Star Citizen that is most recent. So we check it out, and then we're hopping in the verse. And today, I start playing on my secondary account. I have an account with just an Avenger Stalker. I'm very excited to see how silly it's going to get. Darkman, Doug, Darcy, Thompson, what up? I see you, Carlito. Falcon, what up? Good to see you. Appreciate the likes. Hope you're doing well. All right, let's go, let's go. Let me do this thing. How dare? How dare? Oh, that's nice. Beep, beep, beep. Alright, we close this, get back over here, and then Robert Space Industries. Alright, it's time. We mute this, and then turn the full screen. This.
Inside.
Hush, Jared. Hush. Hush. All right. Redo it. Let's redo it. Make sure we double check. 4K picket.
Inside Star Citizen is many different things to many different people. But at the center of it all is our desire to educate about the very nature of game development itself. And in this week's part 2 of our 3-part experimentation and format, we lean into that aspect and explore some of the foundational philosophies that guide just one of the teams that are continuously working to iterate and improve on the persistent universe as it prepares to grow in this year's upcoming Alpha 4.0.
Woo!
Now, where last week we met the team, this week it's how we work level design with the folks from the Frankfurt level design team.
What up, Frankfurt level design team? Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I like it. Nice job spawning in the beer.
Well, level design, it's probably one of the hardest things to describe in game development.
We take gameplay elements and we take the environment and we just bring all that together.
It is more than the sum of all of its pieces. You can't just kind of speed level design a forest log cabin. That's not enough. Like, what is the player doing there? What does it mean? Why does this thing exist in this space? What can the player do as well?
You've got the environment art that makes the art itself. This is not us. We have the gameplay teams that make all the gameplay elements, and this is not us. What we do is we take these two things, we combine them together and make it cohesive environment for you guys.
Boom, 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 boom.
We design the space itself, and we also accommodate everything that goes inside of it.
A lot of the things that you use, like hangars.
I love the Eclipse.
ATC.
I have a rare use for it, but I still think this ship is
elevator
gorgeous.
rides.
Wait, you're responsible for the elevators?
Elevators are our problem, yeah.
Oh no.
Just a setup site.
Oh no.
If you die in the elevator, that's actually a problem from the coding side. We just throwing them under the bus.
Is it possible in a sandbox game to have level design?
Yes, because you have to consider all of the individual constituent pieces and why they need to exist together.
Today's
You can
live
throw
was super
anything in
satisfying to
there,
watch and
but
hear
you have to account for,
confirmations.
like, does this
Really?
begin to break the game? So you
Should
have
we also pull that up?
conversations with economy, you have conversations with code, you have conversations with system design, mission design,
I'm not
and you
against
have to
it,
figure out
man.
how all these pieces, again, stitch together.
So there are 6 principles for good level design.
First is readability. This basically means clarity in your environment.
You're going to make sure
Watch
within your
notice,
layout
you've missed them.
that
I haven't
everybody
watched the
can
Star Citizen
understand
lives
where they need to go, what they need to
ever,
do.
because they're so
All
long,
these
man.
four necessities need to make sense. The typical one could be, I've got a door in front of me.
You guys need 32
How do
gigs
you
of RAM to play.
describe-
To be fair, Miguel, it is a game where you will have an entire planet loaded in, where you have no loading screen to get to it. Like, you see where you want to go, you just fly there, and you just go there. Like, the loading screen you have, unless you die, you have one loading screen. So, like, it's not too bad.
Door.
For example, you're fighting an AI and they can read easily the elements, the gameplay elements. You need to understand your cover space. You need to find the AI within the space. If the AI is in a black area, you will not see it at all. And this is very important for us. We really focus on this kind of stuff and we make sure that anything you interact with within the environment, you can see as clear as possible.
Next is flow and leading
I can
lines.
respect that.
It's creating a good composition of all these things, from layout, lighting, some props, a good mix of combat spaces or like combat encounters, and then time for exploration, and then doing a mix between both.
We make sure that you're not going always on a straight line. We make sure that you're not spending 2 hours walking from one space to the other.
In Pyro, you will come across a lot more players as we funnel them into a certain space with a concentration of missions, for example, or things to do. You know, that is flow to us. On the flow level, that is higher on the chart. And then certain areas will be a bit more on the lower end of your pacing. Leading lines is a compositional technique.
Some examples can be
AI is not
you
good.
are following
On
the
a
cables
bad server.
from
A lot of what's wrong with Star Citizen right now is server focused. When you get to a good server, the AI is problematic for you in a good way.
interactable through to another area to interact with another element. You're being breadcrumbed along, you're being led along these leading lines.
With Pyros,
War, were you talking about today's Star Citizen Live or this? So I can get clarification on that.
station, you have the core element, you have the arms pointing
live, okay.
towards the center. It's a very simple example, but more on a larger scale. But we look at it also on a room basis.
We're trying to direct you through to a discoverable place over here,
Appreciate
or trying to direct you through to like a vent. We're using light and cables to navigate you through these spaces.
Third is options. We want to give you guys multiple options so you can complete your objective the way you want it.
In context of our game is
So I have to have a lot of money to play?
players
No.
the opportunity
$45.
to approach certain
Base package,
situations
that's all you
in
need.
different ways, or get an idea of the situation in the first place.
You have straightforward options, the combat route. You have a more sneaky option for players that don't like to engage in combat so much. Or you can also have like a puzzle route for players that like to do more interesting environment interactions.
That's cool.
Then there is clustering. Clustering also falls into the compositional techniques, or more in the layout side
Want to play
of
with people
things.
so you have to pay and
Clustering
play?
means
You
that
don't.
you start like bringing objects together to create something
It's just
a
that
bit
simple.
more
You don't.
natural.
To be fair, I'm also gonna today, once we get done watching this, and apparently the Star Citizen Live that happened. I feel like those are about an hour. We're gonna watch this and that, and then boot up the game. And then I'm gonna have like my secondary account that only has an Avenger Stalker, which is like a package that's like $60-ish, maybe 70. I don't know how they updated it, but that's it. I'm gonna rock that ship, and we're gonna see how much we can do with just that ship. So people are saying like, oh, you got to spend hundreds of dollars. No, you don't. The people who are spending lots of money want to see the game come to completion. And since they are their own publisher, if you want to support the project, it's just like a Kickstarter. You can give more and get some stuff because you gave more, but it's really just saying, hey, I want to see what you're doing get done. You have to pay money to play a game. I mean, yeah, but like this game is different than a lot of that. Pyro looks sick. It really does.
On things
Very
by
excited.
grouping certain things up into clusters. A specific power example would be the outposts, where you have a big landing pad in the center, And then you have groups of clusters of buildings that are arranged around it, and they form like points of interest by themselves.
We've not always been successful with clustering, but moving forwards into the future, especially with Pyram, we're taking a renewed effort to concentrate and cluster things properly.
Finally, there's
When was the last
scale
time you played, Joe?
proportion. Scale is important in how you vary it. If everything is large, for example, nothing is large anymore.
We are the one that defines all the metrics for
Months?
FPS, but also for ships.
So that's fine because I'm cargo and mining
Talking
focused when I
about
play.
ships that have a few meters,
Those really
to
long
some
awaited
ships that have
information and
hundreds
examples of the
meters.
coming cargo
And
missions.
we need to make sure that
Yeah, we're watching that.
transition from A to B feels always smooth and natural.
So what fucking
right?
ship was that?
And
Hold up.
we need to make sure that
Is that a Jav? Because it looks like a hurricane on top of it. It's not a Redeemer. Well, not Redeemer. Reclaimer. Who knows what ship that is?
the transition from A to B feels always smooth and natural, right?
If you, for example, come from a maintenance corridor or a small little packed little vent,
This game's still in development, so yeah, the game won't feel complete or the AI might not be good.
More
Yeah,
likely in aha mode.
but that's part of the process.
So we still have a very big.
It has
open
changed a
spaces,
lot. And over this last 6 months, so we got some of the bigger changes. And the next patch is a cargo patch, cargo missions, cargo in your hangar, your instance hangars. Like, there's going to be a lot of stuff in this next update that was supposed to be in 3.23, but it just didn't work out as nicely as they wanted it to, so they kind of pushed it, but very shortly.
Condense the gameplay space a bit more, so the players don't have so much options to
I'm
walk
into this.
around. But still
That's
get,
not even
like,
a joke,
the
Joe.
defense
We're literally
and the
watching it because
immersion
I
of, like, a
also
big open
am curious
space.
about how they were going to handle cargo.
Just also feeds into scale.
So you can use proportions to be able to scale up, like, what is kind of the background space, what is the foreground space, and what is the midground space of, like, what is immediately interesting to you as a player, and what is in the background that's not yet relevant to you. So you can land at one outpost on Pyro 2, and you can see yourself in a sort of like habitation outpost village. Down the hill, you can see there's a refinery area, but the main feature of this place that you were drawn to initially was this massive mining tower. These become like your immediate foreground, your midground, and your background. But again, you can always come into your ship and go to this massive mining tower. Therefore, this becomes the new foreground. You're always orbiting it, you're transferring around. This becomes your landmark to orientate yourself around all these other spaces nearby.
Nice.
Traditionally, in level design, you
Real
start
nice.
out with a pre-production phase. This is where we ideate, conceptualize, we gather references, we do sketches.
I really do love
top-down
these.
layouts of our brain map, put things together.
We then go into white box, which is literally going into the editor, start mocking things up in 3D, creating the space,
I love seeing
and
this.
defining where the gameplay elements are.
Because a lot of people are wondering, like, a lot of people don't necessarily know the process of how they go from nothing to a level, and this is a great way to see that. Like, you get to see how they look. We make a level. It's not done, but it's a level. I like that.
You have a shop on the right, shop on the left, your elevator transit over here. We work at different scales at this point, and we define basically everything in the location, but with very, very basic shapes.
And then we hand it over to art, so the focus lies more on art for grey
Appreciate them
boxing,
hearts.
making
Dash,
things
thanks
more
much.
pretty, with us still having an eye on it to see that the original concept is still intact.
And then finally, we'll move into final art, and the level designers will be able to kind of keep all of these locations.
Who
like, the internal
wants some
location is
noodles?
kept consistent. It doesn't veer off too much into some of these too big or too small. This is the original design direction that we wanted from beginning through to end.
Once a location is released, it's not finished for us because there's always maintenance and additions that we do. When there's a new functionality, a new gameplay coming in, we go in and we add them to all the locations. We retrofit the locations. So whenever there is a bug in the PU, we have to maintain these locations. So we would go into new babbage and fix AI placements or shops not working anymore. But mostly, level design is also about coordinating with every team.
So be it with like lightings, mission team, environment art, audio, narrative, they work more or less in their pockets, and then we try to keep an eye on like the big picture to bring everything together and look that everything is coherent and cohesive.
What is important to us, or what we really want you to experience, is a nicer flow.
Anything
in the
new?
stations.
They're about
I think
to
what
put
we realized with
cargo
Squadron,
into PCU,
Is, you know, you just
apparently.
take a ton of elevators from place to place.
Or they already have
Kind
them,
of
I'm
want
sure.
to
I feel like people
optimize
have been
that
waiting
you.
for it, and all I'm seeing,
Make it a bit
see what's saying,
more
like, waiting for
efficient,
cargo.
so you don't spend a lot of time going from A to B.
We are trying to bring, for example, the clinic and the habitation right away into the shopping area and trying to make it much more compact.
At the same time, we really, really want to offer some good gameplay content within the stations, outside of missions that you can go into
Thank
and
you.
discover
Yes,
on your
yes,
own
yes.
as you explore.
Random stuff.
We try to improve
Let's do
pyro
it.
stations with all the lessons we've got from
Thank you for the
Stanton.
Hey, appreciate the follow, Thunder Chicken.
Now for outposts, each location has to have its own identity. Like, does this outpost fulfill the need for a combat space? Does this outpost fulfill the need for like a social space? Does this outpost fulfill the need for like a puzzle space? All these factors come into play and come into consideration when creating a whole new location.
We want you to be able to discover little points of
Random
interest around the
picos.
outpost. It's kind of feathered. If you come across an outpost, there will be.
They just added those terminals
locations
recently.
Around
Hot
it.
dog.
These could be like
I
villages.
feel like that was
around it. This
3.23
could be
where those came in. So
derelict
like,
settlements that are
that also
abandoned
tracks for it to
and
be
you have
cargo.
to go into and can
but
find
we will see.
potentially
Because I'm
loot
gonna watch the
in.
Star Citizen live after
And
this.
once you've landed your ship, you are no more than a short walk away from the main reason you've arrived at this outpost, which is to trade. We want to encourage the use of ground vehicles to be able
Right.
to pick up your cargo that
You
you've bought
like
from
to
this place,
trade.
load up your little Drake mule, and drive it over to your ship,
that my ship? That's a
load
great
that
question.
ship, and then fly out with your goods.
We wanted to create a location that felt real. So you had, the logistic is there. The AI created roads between the different points of interest within the outpost so that it feels logical for a player to walk in or to traverse.
Pyro is always dangerous, so any social space can turn into a combat scenario. So you need to be able to duck into cover at a moment's notice, even when you're doing nice, easy trade and socials. So we have to
That's powerful right there. The idea that they're designing it, knowing that it's a first-person shooter at its core. So like, hey, look, you might get into some gunplay out here. So let me make sure that, you got some cover in here. If somebody shows up and they're like,
Nice face. Be ashamed if something were to happen to it.
so you got fights randomly. So they put the cover in there. I like it.
provide you
I
with
like it.
opportunities for cover and exciting FPS combat scenarios.
There's a lot of things to consider for an open world game that on this scale. You have to account for multiple, situations and have players also be able to deal with all kinds of circumstances. So it is a complex undertaking. It's a challenging one, but this is what we want to account for in Pyro as much as we can.
That makes me happy.
Level design
Finally be a
matters
space
is
cowboy
important
Europe.
because
Never played Star
we
Citizen, but it
think
looks
of
interesting.
a
This
very
is
broad
this
scale.
is a lot of covering of Pyro visually. This is a lot of the system that's not in the game yet, but will be soon. They're aiming to release Pyro this year, which is going to be the biggest expansion of Star Citizen. Oh snaps, we at the 3K. Good looking now. But yeah, it's basically taking it from 1-star system to 2-star systems. And with this 1-star system, it's already a massive game. Like literally multiple planets that are to scale planets, moons that are massive, and they're going to add a whole nother one. You can jump in between. But the second one is going to be like a pirate haven. It's going to be all about pirate life. So, it's about to get fun. And like, if you notice, a lot of this is kind of red tinted. Pyro's star is red. So a lot of it's going to be reddish when you get to those planets.
And try to craft and create a great experience for you as the player.
Level design ends up being greater than the sum of all of its parts. I get to talk with all these different disciplines at CIG, but also get to kind of like hold the hand of the player and curate that all the way through.
We focus on the player experience. We look at all the features that exist and we try to bring them up all together into a cohesive environment. That feels really fun for the players.
Do you always succeed?
No, but it's not always like within our hands, but we always try our best to, within the framework we have, to create like the best possible experience for you guys.
So we've learned a lot from our time in Stanton, and we love hearing all the feedback we get from you as players. We want to take that all on board and begin establishing ourselves forwards when we come into Pyro.
What we really want to do also is balance out gameplay with the visuals. I mean, in the past, we've seen a lot of focus being spent on the visuals and less so on the content. This needs to switch around and find an even plane.
That's powerful as shit to hear. Especially from people who've been playing the game for so long. Keeps wanting to go back and see what's changed. A lot. A lot. Marco. They just added 3.23, which added a lot of quality of life. Like the map and the mini map alone are literally top tier compared to what they used to be.
And level design is just one way we're doing this in Pyro.
I love the fact that they have pointed out that, look, we know that it's been pretty stuff first. We're fixing that. Moving forward, it's going to be both pretty and functionality. Why is this here? You all
Boss Dash.
looking out, fam.
Level designers really want to make Pyro and Stanton in the future a great experience for the players. From a flow perspective, boring you less, making things...
That looks like it's going to be arena combat. I know that looks like a landing pad, right? We can see, like, this also shows the difference of the theming. The great work that they've done with separating the look of Pyro from the look of Stanton. Stanton has a look of a lot of very corporate stuff, right? Like, you got landing pads that are perfect and fancy. This is literally a pit in the ground. We dug a hole in the ground. You can land your ship in it. And when you blast off, you're not going to mess everything up around you because you're pointing down or you're pointing back, and it's going to just be kind of circled in here. So it's also functional, but it also is like, we don't have the resources to dig a place in the ground. And yes, it does look like my first thought was this is the Gladiator Arena. But looking further and seeing the 3, that's a medium size 3 pad. But then you also have like the desert looking building. So like it's like all of it is functional. This looks like almost like a junkyard. Like they're using everything that exists to make sure, since they're not backed by a corporation, they have the abilities to, hey, look, we see your thrusters, we're using that. Like, we see your storage, we're using that. These buildings even look like they could have been, like the ones that are behind the camera, they look like they could have been like the top of a ship or something. So like it's really cool.
More efficient for you as you follow the gameplay loops that you want to follow, and offer you.
You have a Golden Star Citizen for this patch, or just playing casually? I have
on your own.
Never really had an overall goal other than just like playing and having fun. Like,
So
we're going to
what we
start
learned this
doing
week?
more with combat,
Well, we
but for
learned
the
that
most
level
part, it's just like,
design is a
what
discipline
can we
that
get
brings
into?
many other aspects of game development together to form what we always hope is a
What up, Q?
cohesive
How you
and
doing?
enjoyable experience for the player. That the philosophies and precepts that guide their decisions continue to evolve as they learn important lessons from the development of Stanton, and of course, apply it to Pyro.
Dang it.
And that Pyro itself continues to inspire an experience that should be markedly different from the one we have today in Stanton. For Inside Star Citizen,
I'm Jared Huckabee.
Thanks for letting us share the people and process of game development with you, and we'll see you all here next week.
Yay. All right, so now let's see if this is on YouTube, because I don't know if they already post the lives to YouTube or not. So we may have to just go to their Twitch. Star Citizen Live. Wow, the last time they did anything live on YouTube was... It's a 10-hour stream? Sheesh. 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 Oh, so let me see. Because of reasons. Hey. There it is. There it is. I know that guy. Oh, I appreciate that linkage, War.
To do so.
Gotcha.
That is beautiful.
Gotcha. So what you were experiencing today was a server reset in action. So they're getting ready to swap more people out, more players in. So
Yep, 6 years ago. Gamescom 2017 show floor. It was me, Sergeant Gamble, and Meyer.
you guys have
Streaming Star Citizen from the show floor of Gamescom. And this, I believe, like, I don't know if this was the catch release day.
I mean, we might,
but
try.
it was a good day.
Cold as ice.
It was a good day.
Okay. Happy.
Cold as ice. All right, let's get back here. Let's get it out. Let's get it out. Theater mode. No chat. We don't watch chat.
Hey, everybody.
Okay, it's not too bad.
Tired. Looking at the Reddit comments.
Oh, no. Why would you do that? Why would you do
Hey,
that?
everybody. What are we doing? Oh, welcome to Star Citizen Live, the sometimes weekly showcase. Where
Sometimes
we take about
weekly.
an
I love
hour
it.
At the end of our week, and we were just on.
I do remember you,
'cause
Q.
It takes like several hours to set this stuff up. So it's you see.
You were just here, like, last week.
All this stuff for time before that.
I'm not that
It takes
forgetful, fam.
about an hour that you see.
If not
at
last
the
week,
end
if
of the
not
week.
more recent.
And we do a lot of things. Sometimes we do a question and answer thing. Sometimes we interview folks and get to know them. Sometimes, as we're doing for the last couple weeks and for the next couple weeks, we're doing our game dev specials where we invite a developer to basically disconnect their computer and carry it from one building to another building. We're in a different building here. Hook it up here and then work for an hour and show you a bit of their process.
10K likes to
And
be
that's
good.
what we're
Damn.
doing, this week.
Damn.
This week's show is called Making Missions 2.
We're at 10K right now?
It's a sequel to a previous series of episodes we did called Making Missions. Those ones were with Elliot Maltby. They were okay. Not as good as I had hoped, mostly due to the guest. But I mean, otherwise, but we've traded up. We've got different guests this week, so we're hoping our results will be better. Let's go ahead, now that I've sufficiently just poked that bear, let's go ahead and introduce our guest this week. Meet me at camera 2. Our guests this week are Yort and Nick. How you doing, guys?
Hello, everybody.
Good. How are you?
Hope you get to the daily reward. You know,
Before
me
we
too.
start,
I
just take
appreciate
a
you
few
going that
minutes,
ham
because
on it,
every
fam.
show is somebody's first show, and if this is your first
Thank
show,
you very much.
go ahead and introduce yourselves. We'll start with you, Yort. Who are you, and what do you do for Star Citizen?
Hey, I'm a mission designer, so I make missions. You might know me from something like the Crusader platform missions. I've also done some work on Siege of Orison, and I've been doing some tweaks on the new player experience to make sure they're available basically at every landing zone.
What do you mean they might know you? Like to know you, to play your missions, or to know you?
Oh yeah, that's basically my whole
That was smooth. Like, yeah, obviously.
This is one of those shows where I just got to do the intro, and then I'm like,
Love the shots he takes in this one.
Looking forward to it. Nick, who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, I am Nick Wardle. I'm on the economy team. And
Yeah, I would prefer not to get lost trying to find the bathroom, so I would agree with you on that one, fam.
We all do a bit of everything, but my main focus is player progression and player rewards.
Some of everything.
Economy team. Do we have an economy?
We do. Okay.
Damn!
Edgy.
Damn!
Frost.
We do have an economy, and we will have even more of an economy. And in fact, 324 is going to be a great place to discover that economy.
Yeah, we had you. We had you and oh gosh, no. Andre, geez, on SCL a couple weeks ago, introducing the new team that's been building up here in the UK.
Someone sprayed meat juices all over a non-fiction book
we saw
based on a true
some
story.
of the early fruits of that in 323. You'll see more with the cargo missions that are coming in 324, and then on.
Took me a second. Took me a second that time. What up, C-Player?
So, what are we doing this week? You're right.
Well, this week, we're going to show you a little bit about the cargo hauling missions that we've been building.
Show me!
So usually, you know,
I'm trying to see cargo hauling missions
is the
Lego.
kind of thing where it seems pretty straightforward. You
I'm trying to see
go
some
to a location,
cargo hauling
you
missions.
grab some containers, put them on your ship, fly somewhere else, put them down, and get paid. But actually, today we're going to show you that in Star Citizen, it's a lot more interesting.
Yeah. Now this will be one of those shows where you're working for the hour, so you won't see the results of that mission this week. We will be back next week where we'll actually jump into the game. We'll actually play the mission that we're creating here live today.
That's wild. I like it.
This is one of the shows where it's
the idea of
making
making a mission, showing it being made, and then being like, oh yeah, we can come back and play this next week.
I'm assuming that you already have.
Beautiful. Appreciate the follow, Shaq.
But you know, join in. It's fun. Not less for the chair, but I think we're selling new chairs soon. Oh, look at how I worked that in there, didn't I? I worked that in there. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to you. Get us started.
Sounds good.
It's your show.
All right. So, Nick, how do you make a Star Citizen hauling mission?
Well, I mean, I think the first thing that we ought to do is find out from the community what they think, because after all, we are making.
I hope they're not watching Reddit comments
That's
live.
Precisely what I did.
And for the community.
So I started off by doing some research and going on Spectrum, our official Star Citizen forums, and I also had a look at what people were saying on Reddit, as well as checking out some YouTube videos.
Bold.
Out there.
Absolutely bold.
So a few things I noticed immediately right off the bat was what people were discussing when it came to sandbox commodity trading is that currently, you know, you're required to have quite a sort of built-up capital for you.
Look at that camera.
That
yeah,
one.
that one.
Oh, all right.
There you go.
You're supposed to have quite the sort of built-up capital already for you to actually go to a location and buy all these commodities to be able to
Target
even
for trash talking, pretty much.
transport it anywhere and you know, make a profit off of that. So that's definitely something we've been taking into consideration. Another conversation I've seen is people discussing what sort of the best cargo hauling ship would be, and if actually some of the smaller ships out there are still going to have a purpose when the cargo hauling missions come out. So that's also something that we're going to be talking about today.
Ooh.
But most importantly,
This is good because the
I think
Avenger
what people are most
Titan,
excited
while
about
being one of
is
my favorite ships, is very much one of the small cargo haulers because it's got a sizable cargo hold in the back that you can fit a lot of stuff in. So I'm really excited to hear where this conversation goes.
the role of cargo.
What up,
hauling
Adrian? Good to see you,
missions
fam.
within-
I know I am.
within the economy. And so after doing my research, I reached
How's the
out to
FPS?
the
Depends on
economy
your
team.
server. It's
And
better
there,
now, but it's still not
I spoke
where
a
we
little
want
bit
it to
with
be.
Connor, which is
They're
Nick's
in the midst of
colleague up in
updating
Austin,
the
Texas.
netcode, which
Hey,
is going to
Connor.
make the frame rate better.
And he showed us something very interesting. So let's switch to our screen here.
I like that background, that wallpaper. You need to just go ahead and
What Connor showed me
slide me
is
that one, Playboy.
this amazing logistical sheet that he'd been imagining, which essentially maps out all of the connections between different locations
Damn.
within the Stanton system. So as you can see, if a
Is that law
commodity
enforcement?
would come in from the jump point
Where's my
and
mouse?
it would need to go somewhere, well then
Is that law
it
enforcement?
gets
Is that LEO?
connected to an LEO.
What are you watching?
And then from the
Star
LEO,
Citizen
it
Live
would be
from this week.
transported to
They're talking about
another
cargo
LEO,
and how cargo is going to
range
work
point,
in the game.
Or maybe if
So we
it's
kind of
going
had to
down
stop in
planet
and pay attention to
surface,
this
it will
one.
go through the landing zone to
We
the
really don't watch a
outpost,
lot of
or maybe
these, but
even if the outpost
we
is
may have to
closer the
start,
distribution
depending
center,
on how
go to
detailed this is.
distribution first, and then to the outpost.
And each of those are at
All right,
different
later, Adrian. Have a good one.
sizes and different ships are involved, but every single one of those journeys can be turned into gameplay, right?
Exactly, yeah. So the next step was I basically did some research about, well, all of the different planets and moons and all of the different locations that exist in the Stanton system. And
For half a second, I thought they were about to say this is all pyro. The idea that this is already in the game as it is wild to me. Because only until now have I been just trying to find a fun game to play. There's not fun. Frame rate is not the only descriptor of fun. I will say that way. I hope you find something awesome. But there's a lot of good games to be played right now. Have ship, we'll mind it. A dwarf probably. All right, so like ArcCorp, Stanton 5, Lyria, Walla, Crusader, Chelin, Daymar. That's wild that I hadn't even considered that these were the ones that were already in the game. That's cool.
Basically mapped Connor's logistical rule set and structure onto
worries,
those
fam.
locations.
What
here
have
you
you
can
been
see,
playing
for
that you're trying to
example,
find something
the planet
like?
Hurston, and I've connected up all of the different locations with their sort of structure.
If you're trying to
So
find
in this
something
case,
like something you played
a mining
already,
outpost
is the real
would be
question.
connected to a distribution center, so all of the stuff that they mine is going through there. And then when that distribution center has collected stuff, it will connect up to the LEO of that planet. So in this case, Everest Harbor. And from there,
I thought it was law enforcement. I was like, man, come on.
Probably the closest or cheapest Lagrange point that has a refinery where the ore is refined and it can be sent over to the different other LEOs depending on who needs it.
Yeah, I want to add in here for the folks who are, many folks are probably thinking the obvious question, well, what about quantum and stuff like that? These are representations of the same type of information that is in there. That's still being worked on, still not quite ready for prime time, but we can take the modeling and the information that are from there and get started on missions now, and then it's just about find and replace and stuff, so.
Exactly. So
I like
how
that
about
clarification real
we
quick.
Pick one commodity and try to trace
Like no time
its
wasted.
entire route.
Yep, from where it originates to where it might be needed.
Exactly. So what I'm thinking is let's pick titanium. And what you can see is that I've actually mapped out on this board what the crust of the different planets is made of. So here you can see that Hurston has iron and all of its moons have different combinations of different ores. What I can see is that titanium is mostly found on the moons around Crusader. Now this is data.
That's actually good to know.
Information from.
This is data that was provided to me by Connor, and Connor is also the point of contact for the people who are placing around the minables. Which
Provided
means
to me by the
whatever
people that
planet
make it.
has a particular kind of ore in mineable, that will also use essentially the same information and data that the cargo hauling missions use to figure out what ore should be hauled.
And just like Jared was saying, Starsem is eventually going to be in charge of managing these relationships.
Exactly.
Starsim, is that officially the new name, or is that just one of those things we're playing around with? Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Star Hair, Star Cloth, Starsim. Why not?
All right.
When you see a full-on video, like when you see somebody standing at CitizenCon saying it's called that, that's when you can take it for the reality.
All right. So as you guys know, raw ore is specifically mined at mining outposts. We've got plenty of different kinds of locations across the Stanton system. But in this case, for example, on Yella, we can see ArcCorp has a mining outpost here. On Daymar, we've got Shubin and ArcCorp mining outposts. And then I believe that Selin only contains a hydro farm and research outpost. These little icons here, those are locations that will be receiving a freight elevator for the 3.24 patch, and that's where cargo hauling missions can currently
You need an external website to play your game. It's a
and
failure in game design. Thoughts?
Locations will.
If that's the case, then the vast majority of games that have depth to them are failures in game design. Because if you're saying anytime you need an external website to play your game, that's anytime anybody has to look up something outside of your game to find it. That means anytime somebody looks up something on Google. That means anytime somebody looks up something on Wikipedia. That means anytime somebody looks up anything on like game FAQs, or if they pull up the gaming manual that the game has, like somebody's like, these are the top 10 things that you need to pay attention to. So like, no, it's sometimes it might be right, sometimes it might be wrong, but I feel like the vast majority of it is, if you have that much depth that people can have a lot of information stored about your game, that's a deep ass game. Like, nobody would have imagined years ago when Stardew came out that there would be a Stardew wiki. You could write a book about Stardew, about stuff that you wouldn't think that was available, but it's all in the game. So I feel like I disagree with that point. There are some games where like I don't know what to do at all and the game doesn't tell me. That's a failure on teaching. So that's definitely a failure on game design. But like if there's a tutorial that explains to you every game mechanic, then that is the key to let you go and explore. Because I love a good Easter egg. I love a game that gives me the opportunity to go and explore and find something without hand-holding me and telling me everything. So that's why I would say, like, not every game, I can't agree with that statement 100% of the time, because there's lots of things that randomly I've found in video games, like, holy...
But what if we did?
Is what I was trying to do. It's impressive when you come across something that you may have never seen before. You may never have likely seen if you were just following the path of the game. If you're going the linear trajectory the game wants you to go, which is why I always, if you watch the stream longer than an hour of me playing a video game, if the game feels like it wants me to go in a direction to continue the story, I go the immediate opposite direction. If there's a T intersection, and it's like, hey, look, go left to finish the campaign. I'm like, bet, to the right we go, because I like finding random things. As long as the basics are taught, as long as the most important parts to get you through the game are taught, everything else is full game to be shown if you go looking for it and use the game mechanics you were taught to find it.
Available as sort of pickup locations for a mission that asks you to move titanium ore, and you'll be asked to move those to Seraphim Station, which is the LEO, and from there, Seraphim Station will connect those ores to Crew L1, which is the closest Lagrange point with a refinery, and at that point...
What kind of purpose?
We're discussing. I mean, therein lies the issue, though, right? Because just with a little bit that we've said, we can see that some games need it, some games don't. So that's like putting up the sign that says, like, anytime you need an external website to play your game, it's a failure in game design. Prove me wrong. It's like, that's what it feels like. And it's like, I'm not going to prove you wrong because I disagree. But the discussion, there's nothing wrong with the discussion. It's just, I feel like the way it was said makes me concerned.
Would titanium have, like, why would titanium need to be spread around the system?
Titanium is worth crap, yeah, right?
Oh, Well,
right now, yeah, it doesn't seem to have much use, but...
Well, actually, titanium from the Lagrange point can be sent to a number of different kinds of locations. Hurston, for example, if you've visited the renewed Lorville cityscape, you'll see that it has loads of different kinds of production facilities and industry.
Failure should be avoided.
So it will be used for construction there.
I feel like it depends on what part of it feels like a failure.
It will also be transported back to Crusader from Crew L1 because, for example,
Again, it depends on the context. Because if it's like, if you do these things, you find a sword that is like the illest sword in the game, like that's interesting. Alt tab's just not immersive. Yeah, but who? With the advent of cell phones, I feel like people don't alt tab as much. I agree that immersion is kind of required. Also, shift tab is nice if you're in Steam. But like, it depends on the situation. Again, like if it's something like where a game mechanic is broken and you have to figure out how the hell do I do this? It was never explained to me. That's definitely a failure in game design. If it's how do I find or where do I find these specific pieces of things that are stored and hidden in the game worlds exclusively and for good reason, where do I find these puzzle pieces to make this one thing? Like that feels like exploration is how you get that. So I hope that makes sense as to how I'm differentiating between the two. Know what's immersive? What's that, Pat?
shipyards on Orison.
Shipyards on Orison are immersive.
Been
Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up?
We'll be making ship components with titanium or be using it maybe for decoration.
I want to add something here, again, because I don't even have to look at the chat. I've been doing this for 10 years now. These things that we're talking about, this is 324 stuff. These are, we are showcasing the work that went into creating the very new cargo missions that are part of the upcoming 324 patch. So this isn't a concept for something much farther out. This is the process and the very information we're using to create the next missions that are going to be in your hands.
Exactly.
Very nice.
So from there, titanium can basically go everywhere. If there are other star systems that maybe have a deficit of some kind of commodity, doesn't have to be titanium, that means it'll be transported over to Everest Harbor where it can be shipped out to different kinds of systems as well.
So you're talking like through
the jump points.
Exactly.
In this case, the jump points aren't active yet, as we know, but we do have missions that allow you to drop off commodities at these jump points, where then hypothetically, they'd be sent through to the other side. So yeah, we could see that the different LEOs are sort of connected to Hurston. Hurston is the main point of contact for sort of interstellar cargo hauling travel, and from there, different missions go to the 3 jump points in the Stanton system.
So when you say different missions, that sounds like a lot of missions.
Oh yeah, every single one of these steps that I mentioned, from an outpost to the LEO to the refinery to all these other places,
good question.
Every single one of those connections
I'm not sure yet.
is a mission. And we've made them for nearly every single commodity in the game. So that is a lot of connections and a lot of different commodities and a lot of different missions that you could play. So how about when it comes to the titanium example, we just decide to build one for the showcase.
So, well, you said that it could get to Seraphim.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it needs to be refined.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So where's the nearest refinery to Seraphim?
We'll make a mission that brings titanium from Seraphim Station to Crew L1, the Lagrange point with the refinery.
Okay.
Yeah.
What we do to make missions, if you've seen the previous episode where we made missions with Elliot Maltby, is this program called DataForge. DataForge is the place where we create different mission records that are then essentially loaded into the game when they're done. And when you open your MobiGlass and look into the Contracts app, that's where you'll see every single one of these listed. So there is a lot of them there. We're going to just show how one is made, essentially. I'm just going to be filling in some of these fields, but you guys can go ahead and answer some questions in the meantime if you want to.
Still Tomo 2 says, so Quanta is dead. This is just set stuff? No.
Hey,
I'm
appreciate
gonna
the follow.
guess
Hello there.
that, you know,
Hello there.
What Vengeance is Mine is saying,
For a month and I
just
barely
entered
scratched the
that
surface.
3 minutes
Amazing
ago.
game. Yeah, it is
More like
absolutely
10
fantastic.
minutes ago, and maybe still Tomo just got
I
here.
love actually seeing the
But
tools
yeah,
they're
this is
using to
where
make
you
these
guys
missions
can
and
go.
literally
Instead
making a
of,
mission.
Putting
That's
another
wild.
chatter down just to share the information they might have missed, or maybe they were in the kitchen making a sandwich, or maybe they were in their room punching their chair. I mean, people have things to do. They might miss
I
key
just
pieces of
casually threw him
information
punching a
over the
chair.
hour, so we can help those people out. Just like this, but no. Quantum is still in development. We're hoping that you're going to hear some more of that too as the team gets built up. And I know Benoit's spending some more time now that Benoit's fully integrated in the project with the merger with Turbulent stuff. There's a lot more involvement that he's got and stuff. And
Salty
we're
Mike
looking
Ware.
to. I was just talking to Andre. We're looking to hopefully do something a little more dedicated to the ongoing development of Quantum. I'm going to say before the end of this year is a reasonable expectation. I don't want to do anything more than that. I mean, you know us and schedules, so that's not it coming out. That's when I can tell a story about it, is what I'm talking about. So, yeah, what else we got?
I wondered if you wanted to talk about the difference between the current system and the hauling. So like the difference between sole traders and the hauling missions at all. So like Yorit mentioned, start with currently obviously people can trade commodities and they can haul quite large amounts. But they have to put up the capital to buy the commodities to start with, and then they have to trade them and make a profit on them, which is completely valid gameplay, and
General
the hauling missions
Kenobi.
are not intended to replace that. It's just that the hauling missions will allow players who don't necessarily have the capital and want to engage in that kind of gameplay to still use the freight elevators, use their cargo ships, and move cargo from A to B. Of course, the difference is that the hauling missions are contracted, so an organization.
Oh, we're just literally watching them add stuff to this mission, man.
Overlex, who would?
Sure.
Would put up a contract that says we need this amount of titanium transporting from here to here, and we need it doing within this time. And so anybody that wants to take that contract is going to get paid this amount of money to do that. As opposed to, if you wanted, you could go get some gold, buy it from here, take it to there, and sell it for a profit. So both of those types of gameplay are going to be happening in parallel and will enable people with varying amounts of capital to progress as they want to through the universe.
That's good. And you'll see some examples of those missions in action in ISC in 2 weeks from
Fair enough,
tomorrow. Next week's show is another experiment that'll definitely make some people punch their chairs. And then we're back to normal stuff the following week, and that's these two guys and Elliot and everybody else back talking about the new Blockade Runner event, and then we're actually showing you a lot of these missions, a few of these missions that we're talking about today. So active and working in 324.
Cool. In the meantime, I've filled in all the information that I could. A lot of it was sort of pre-filled in because I'm actually working with header records that sort of persist all of the information down to any sort of new cargo hauling mission I make. So a lot of this stuff is already filled in. I just need to do the details of this particular mission. And now we've reached a point where I'm going to need some help with the economy. So as you can see, I've filled in the fact that this hauling order is going to contain some titanium, and it's now time to figure out how much SCU we actually need moving.
Jackson Space says 2 weeks from tomorrow. ISC on a Saturday? Come here.
This new, this is the Star Citizen live from this morning.
Tomorrow and yesterday?
What should I buy in the standard or next
Nobody's
one?
ever
There's a
looked at
difference
this
in the
space
ships.
and said, that guy knows the difference between tomorrow and yesterday.
Like the standard or what? Which version are we talking about? Which
Thank you for the follow.
ship process? Because really, you don't need to go any higher than at most the Avenger Titan.
I think we
60?
should use
I feel like that's the most
convenient little
anybody should spend on Star
economy
Citizen.
tool that I made.
Like the max you should
to
spend
work
on
out
Star
what
Citizen is
the
the max
EVR
game
should
price
be
of the
for this
current time. So right now games
what's
are going for like $70 at most. Spend no more than $7 in the game. You really don't need to spend more than 45.
Reward. EVR is a universal algorithm.
But I feel like that's it.
allows
Like
us
the dude who
to
made it said that.
balance the effort that anybody puts in for anything.
So speaking of, let's before we continue this, let's look it up right now. Let's look up Star Citizen. Let me see. Will they even show me this page? Because, yeah, I own the game, so they're not going to show it to me. Rude. New tab, new private tab. This is the page that anybody who goes to Star Citizen and considers picking a new ship should see. Mustang Alpha, C8X Pisces. I feel like the Mustang Alpha is, even though they got a rework, I feel like it's not too bad for a rework. Like, it's not too late to see another rework. And yeah, Jared, stay roasting, folks. But also, I feel like the most between these two, I mean, they both come with similar stuff. They both come with the same hangar. This one has 6 months insurance. This one has 3 months insurance. It's basically, the insurance is going to be negligible. So don't worry about insurance. The insurance doesn't matter. I have not flown the Pisces enough to suggest, but I do know that the Pisces does have like a medical variant. So I feel like the Pisces might not be a bad choice. I went a little higher than that and got the Avenger Stalker. What does the insurance mean? Every day you play the game, from the way that it originally was described that I found the game, if you log into the game and you had 6 months insurance, that day takes a day off of your insurance. So you now have 5 months, 29 days left insurance. If you don't log in for 6 months, and you log in that day, you're down to 5 days or 5 months, 28 days insurance. But it's just basically providing you the insurance for free, but the insurance is going to be tiny amounts of money. If you played Elite Dangerous and you know the phrase, you do not fly what you cannot rebuy, basically it's like if you have a ship that's worth like 50 grand in game, you might spend 2,500 or 5,000 to get your insurance. Like, it's negligible. If you do 2 missions, you have enough to handle your insurance. Insurance is not a thing that is going to stop you from being able to play. And also, I feel like they have already said that they're never going to take the ship away completely, that you own your ship for it. And if you can't afford your insurance, you just wait longer for it to come back to you. That's all. They take a little bit longer time getting you your ship. Because right now it's like the lower tier ships might only be, you pay a couple thousand insurance and then you get it in like 3 minutes. They might make that like 6 minutes. And then like if you keep crashing, they make it like 10 minutes. But it's not like you're gonna lose your ship. If you have the time to play, you can earn almost every ship in game. Starship is plenty. Yeah, that's it. Also worth pointing out, we have no official idea what insurance means. We just speculate based on other games. Oh no, that's why I'm going by when I phrase that, I feel like that's how I've heard it discussed in like one of the chairman type videos from way back in the day. They have likely changed the way insurance works, but as far as I know, I'm speaking from the last I have heard officially. It could be very different. Anything could be very different. Star Citizen is a game that is in process and changes all the time. So I don't know. It might change. I don't know. This one said supply and demand would affect ships being restored by insurance too. Yes, that heavily impacts how players are playing. If players need a bunch of the same ship, they may take longer because like the queue for that ship may be a while. Maybe the NPCs aren't mining fast enough or the players aren't mining fast enough. So there's a lot of stuff. Based on what you make per mission by ratio, the taxes and fees and insurance will always be far less unless you have capital ships. Yeah. So I wouldn't worry too much about the insurance. But between these two ships, my personal preference would be the Pisces, just because the Pisces has a cargo bay. Like it has a ramp in the back. You can put a box in there versus the Mustang Alpha. I feel like they made it to where you can have a box in the Alpha, but it doesn't feel like, I haven't seen one have that. And also the wings of these things just come off. They just come right off. Like you can upgrade either of them in game with like new weapons and new shields and stuff like that. But like, I would probably go with the Pisces because I'm a firm believer in like the base gameplay is, yeah, you can fight, but you're probably going to be doing more box delivery missions in the beginning until you earn enough money to like, you can rent other ships in game. So it's not, you don't even need the money to buy another ship. Let's say you want to try out mining. You just save up, like, I think it's like maybe like 20 grand. And then you rent a ship and you can rent that ship for like 24 hours. And then you can go make hundreds of thousands of credits in a few hours with the ship you rented. So that's actually what I'm going to be doing. That's why I'm starting with a ship that is, or an account that is fresh. Like I have logged into my DeejayKnight 2 account. This is my secondary account. I have a second account that is nothing but an Avenger Stalker. You want to use your referral if you get something? Yes. This is my referral code. If you're going to create an account, use that referral code. You get 5,000 in-game credits. I get a number next to my name. And since we're talking about it, I will show you what I'm talking about. So let's go back to the start page because I literally have it set right here. Well, not DeejayKnight Jr. I mean, I thought about it. But like, if you are the parent to your other ship, oh wait, I'm still logged into. I'm still logged into my baby account. Let me hide my screen because I don't want to have like my password accidentally pop up or anything. Because I wanted to log into it so I could save my password because I forgot what my password was and I had to reset it. And I was like, do I really want to continue trying to remember my old password? Getting this serious. But all right, now we can look at the referral program. Boom, here we go. So I have 342 people have decided to use my link and sign up and create an account. We have 339. Well, technically 342 have actually bought Star Citizen. I don't know why the number's weird. But yeah, anybody who's made an account, you are a prospect. If you've bought the game, you are a recruit. Adventure Titan is a great starter. In my opinion, it is like the best starter. The next best starter would be the Cutter. So let's go here. And I try not to show too much of the pledge store just because money. Like a lot of people see that they sell things and they're just like, that's too much. It's like, if you see a BMW, you might be like, that's too much, but you don't have to get the BMW. Like, you don't have to. It's not a thing that you have to buy. So I like to look at these two ships. This is my favorite ship in Star Citizen. If you're talking about starters, this is it. In my opinion, this will be the one. I'll take the referral code though. Yoink. I mean, sometimes you got to yoink. And then the Drake Cutter is my second immediate go-to. And I feel like right up underneath the Drake Cutter would probably be the Pisces, based on what we see. Because right now the Aurora doesn't have a place to put cargo. The Mustang doesn't have a place to put cargo. Let's just zoom in so that people can stop. Don't even see the other options. And we go no higher than the one that I would suggest at the top of your spending comfortability. I would never say go higher than the Adventure Titan. And really, because you can buy any one of these in the game, you can start with the Pisces and be fine. And actually, between the Pisces and the Cutter, I would probably go to Cutter. Ooh, that's a valid thing. I'm glad that I looked because, in my opinion, the Cutter would be a better choice just off rip. But the Pisces probably going to have a much better interior. So there's that. Yeah. I need to look in game and see how powerful the Pisces is in comparison. Why did I not theater mode?
With the amount of reward.
With the amount of reward
for it. And the reward could be UEC, it could be reputation, it could be all manner of things coming soon TM.
Keep getting an error code when I load it. What's the error?
It allows us to create a baseline for calculating fair reward based on time and difficulty. Obviously, there are a lot of other factors that come into all these things, but EVR allows us to have a baseline to work from. So, to get that baseline for one of these missions, the first thing we need to do is decide what grade of mission we're going to do, which is going to tell us how much needs to be taken.
That's right.
What kind of a, oh yeah, okay, so we have the progression, right.
This is the grade progression that we've landed on, which is essentially what kind of missions you get to see as you start in your cargo hauling career, when you've not really made a name for yourself, you're kind of a nobody.
That's cool, that you actually get to see like
that means
hey, this is where you start. Hey man, we don't have much. Here's where we go.
Missions that are available to you will be,
it's been a month since I couldn't get it to load.
Low
interesting
volume, lower risk, and you'll be moving
like if you're talking about like once you start the game,
volume as well. So
30Ks are not normal.
Small grades you could see here at the very bottom.
Non-stop.
Those are relatively low in quantity.
I would say start it and then verify your files.
Ranks, you'll start unlocking
and make sure your gameplay says live, because there are sometimes other options to play. Like you can hit the drop down, like there might be a hot fix or something like that. If you're not in live, make sure you're in live and then go into your settings, click the gear, and then verify files. That's what I would do immediately if I couldn't play and it was giving me 30K errors on load, because that's
up in your
on live. That shouldn't be normal.
Supply grade would be a little bit bigger for the bigger kinds of ships, until at the very end game of your career, when you're really trusted, you've proven yourself. That's when you get to do the really big hauls, and that's when sort of missions will show up that ask you to move things even just from jump point to jump point and stand in places that don't even have you stop here.
Chat's talking about poop missions.
Poop.
All right, cool, William. Glad to hear that.
Every MMO's got to have a poop mission.
Yeah, they're
Agricultural supplies.
I would prefer
we
not
do
to have poop
those
missions
as
personally.
commodities. So if you want to be a poop hauler, we got you covered.
I don't want to be a poop hauler. Y'all can keep that shit.
Okay. Well,
Please and thanks.
we should.
We're just next door. You want to do something about it? Do something about it. Continue.
All right. In this case, I think the volume of titanium that would have been moved all the way from the different outposts to Seraphim Station
Collecting
would be
eggs and
about
Monster Hunter, they can
supply
keep
grade.
those
Bigger
missions.
than small, isn't it?
Yeah.
But maybe let's do a simple one. So maybe supply grade early.
Yep, that sounds good. Titanium is the kind of material, at least the raw ore, that wouldn't be considered that sort of valuable or that risky.
Okay, so why don't we look at a really useful EVR tool? Yeah. Okay, so supply early. Let's find supply early. Early.
Zero the
so
account.
it's telling me we're going to have to move between 80 and 112. So I think it's really important to point out that these hauling missions are contracts. So a player is going to take the hauling mission, the contract, to move the commodity that's needed between A and B, but every time they get that mission, it might be a slightly different specific amount.
Appreciate the follow, William.
It's
Thanks
gonna
much.
be within a range. So supply early in this case is between 80 and 112. And the reason for that is not just variety, it's because different ships have different cargo grid sizes and they allow for different volumes to be moved. So we want to allow players to have that range of experience and to look at the mission and decide for themselves, you know, can I do this in 1 run? Do I need to do this in 2 runs? Do I have a Gatak Sulium, which means I probably need to do it in 58 runs? And so how am I going to approach this? Because that's the logistics. That's what being a hauler is. It's not just pick up the boxes, move and put them down.
Ubi Montreal Legion. There's a name.
It's poop mission
will there be
anyways, filler
higher
agriculture.
EVR
It's
calculations
trolling
for the
that.
entire
It's not
Pyro
it's trolling
system,
that. Is a
or
question.
is
I mean, to be fair,
EVR
I would imagine that somebody who has a farm may want to get poop. They didn't say what type of poop it is, but I can see somebody with a farm needing. Hey, let me get some of that dog animal poop, because reasons. Can't see all the ships for some reason. Where?
only calculated across all systems for the moment.
EVR, because it's just time and difficulty, and it isn't a flat curve, it's an exponential curve, can work for any situation anywhere, but it's just a baseline. And when we're designing, we work with mission designers
Trying to buy it for the first time?
sure that
Oh, because
you have
I went to a
appropriate
different
considerations
spot.
are
like
taken
if
into
it's trying to
account.
give you
The
the
purpose of EVR is to allow
the
a
2
baseline
ships
for an approach.
I feel like a lot of people see that and they're like, oh no. I went to a different page. Like we started at this page that only has the 2 ships. I went to Pledge Store. And by clicking Pledge Store, then we get other options for game packages. And that's when you see the other ships. Nitrogen hauler from the back caves. Right. Like sometimes you need that
Whether it's structured
guano.
missions or whether it's sandbox. I mean, in theory, you could actually reverse it. So instead of saying, for this time and difficulty, how much reward should I get? You could say, given that the amount of reward in this area of space is this, how difficult should it be in time and difficulty to access that? So you can flip it either way.
Okay.
Okay, so let's pick a titanium supply early. Okay.
That's the one.
And as we know, every good mission needs a name, so I think we should call this one Whole Cargo A to B Raw or Titanium Stanton 2 Supply Grade. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Long ass name.
All right, I'll
So
change
buy one of
mine
these
then.
2 ships first? No, you shouldn't.
Okay, so difficulty.
You should
right.
be able to go straight to the store/pledge store. Like if you look at the very top right of the page, like if I scroll this down a little bit, the very top right, you should see account, support, pledge store. Those are on there and I'm not even logged in. I'm not even logged in right now. So you should be able to see pledge store on the upper right. Click pledge store, game packages, and then that's where you'll see the next page. And I would say if you're going to spend $60, while the Pisces is a great ship, my personal preference would be the Cutter. That's just because the way my brain works. Also, Drake is a manufacturer in game that is like, we want to do everything. Everybody can afford our ships, and our ships are
Disrespectfully good.
like the hull is great, the gas tank is great. What about the 100i? The 100i is a luxury ship. It's not I feel like it also is just like you hop in the cockpit instead of having a cargo bay. Like of these 6 ships, the Pisces, the Cutter, and the Titan have cargo bays in the back. The reason that I lean toward the Avenger Titan is because you have the cargo back in the back, but you also can hop straight into the cockpit. Whereas with the Pisces and the Cutter, you can only get in the ship from the rear. Corsair will be a top tier cargo ship, 3.24 guaranteed. Make sure to remind folks it's extremely alpha at the moment. Oh, we regularly tell people that it's alpha. You can't start the game without the game saying, like, if I try to start this game right now, launch game. Regularly, the game's like, hey, look, it's not done. Like, I do not hide that from people.
What do we think?
We are literally watching them showcase how they're making a cargo mission.
How much combat are we going to be doing? No combat.
Yeah, there's no combat designed in this.
Okay, 0 combat.
What GPU and CPU?
Next one.
Ryzen 9 5900X.
Oh, right. How complicated is it? So I think
Radeon 7900 XTX.
Just moving some containers, putting things with your tractor beam on the cargo.
And to be fair, I have not fallen through the map in a long time. So I'm hearing about a lot of people that have fallen through the map recently. It has not been a thing that I've seen. Like, I have fallen through during the test they were doing for the server meshing, and I fell through the station and then hit the planet. But like in live, I don't think I've fallen through the ground in a long time. So I'm sorry that that is happening to people. I'm not saying that it's not happening. That's why I said I'm sorry that it's happening.
Grid.
All right, so I got to ask right here. Hold on. You said no combat designed for this.
Correct.
But I mean, if this mission spawns closer to Grim Hex or
Right,
it was
absolutely.
that's a variable that we would change, even though we're not intentionally adding combat.
Correct.
to it.
27 Super i5 12400. So 2070 Super i5 124 i4. i5, or I said i7, that doesn't count. I really wish there was a way to not have that up every time. Like, just let me click off of that real quick, because of reasons. All right, so that's an i5 and a 10 something, in a 10 series. i5 10 series, 30-ish frames. Never seen that page. This is one of my favorite pages. This is one of my favorite pages in this game. You play with your followers occasionally. Like, I mean, we have a large community. So I typically have it to where if you subscribe to the stream, you can hop on the friends list, just because we have far too many friends to invite everybody that is following. That just would be unsustainable. But we do play. Straight to the shop. It sends me when I look up Star Citizen. I mean, if you're trying to go to Star Citizen, that's just because that's probably the page that people go to from Google. If you're Googling it and then going in.
Where it's going to
absolutely
affect, where it's going to happen. Into
absolutely. So we know this one is Seraphim to Cruel 1.
Oh, yeah.
But absolutely.
Also, to be fair, we do have a large community, and there are many people here who would happily add you if my friends list is in bad shape. Part of the reason that we keep it to subs only is because since I've been streaming, I've been at this like it'll be 9 years. Actually, 9 years was March. We are lucky enough that my Twitch community is 91,000 followers plus. TikTok is 7,000 plus. You see it down on the screen. We're trying to get to 10K. And then YouTube's only 2,000. Twitter's 24,000 or 23,000 and change. So like, if everybody who followed was on a friends list, there is no friends list large enough. That's why we keep it to subs only. So I don't want somebody coming in here like,
oh, you only gonna play if I subscribe and pay you money.
You could do that in Twitch if you got Amazon Prime and not spend any money. That's all I'm saying. We got Cy and Carlos with the follows. Appreciate you. i5s after Skylight became on par with i7s in 600 days, far better than the prior. That's why i3's productions were slow drastically compared to 2010 and later. Good to know. Appreciate that.
Now with Burks out there.
Well, yeah. So We aren't going to be breaking a sweat.
No.
Because it's not complex.
Not very complicated.
And
barely even breaking a sweat. Is that an official term?
Yeah, these are for designers.
Okay.
And I think we need to know how to fly Dock and Quantum.
Yeah, that would be preferable if you're going to do these missions.
So. All right, so it says easy.
Easy mission.
Okay.
There will be a whole range for other ones as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're going to go all the way up to the top.
This is also one of those times I'm going to rely on chat to remind people of this throughout the show. This is a simple front end created to start a conversation, to have this with you and stuff. Obviously, Quantum's still in development. You've got this stuff that's automated and stuff when all the variables go. But tools like this are great to check our answers.
The fact that he has said that like no less than 5 times shows that he's the person paying attention to the Twitch chat, Reddit chat, Spectrum chat, because every 10 seconds, with the game on screen, on days where we have a lot of people, it is not a rare thing to say,
Hey, what game are you playing?
like it's regular. So like the fact that every 5 to 10 minutes he stops people and is like, hey, look, time out. The other stuff is being worked on. Appreciate you, William.
Do it here.
Look forward to seeing you then.
Where all design starts.
Most things are so GPU bottleneck, any decent 4-year chipset, suit most modern games.
Results are like, okay, Quantum's good, and when it's not, you find out where the problem is. So for the purposes of this show, we're showing you the simple tools, the little troubleshooting tools that we use. So, okay.
Absolutely, yeah. EVR is an algorithm. It's not an Excel spreadsheet. This is just for illustrative purposes.
This is one of those times where we have to trust the audience. Share the message.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. The next part of EVR is time.
Yes.
So we're going to figure out how long this mission would take more.
Personal hangers.
Okay. So
that is apparently hopping to PTU soon.
Based on numbers that we have tested internally, that somewhere in the middle, let's say around 95, because that's between 80 and 110, that would take you around 4.5 minutes to load, and you're going to have to load it and unload it. So let's put 9 in loading.
Okay.
Now you're going Seraphim to Cruel 1, so there's no orbits involved, so that's 0 and 0 on those two.
Trying to leave or enter atmosphere would increase the time.
It would, because you're going to have to get through the 10K and back again. And then the actual quantum travel is, what, a minute between Seraphim? I mean, generously, it's probably
Something
30
like
seconds,
that.
but if
Spooling
we call
up and everything, yeah.
Okay, so that is 10 minutes total.
I wonder if their tools have it, like, because I feel like this is just like one version of this tool. Because there's got to be a tool that, when you have the location selected, automatically calculates this. I hear easy mission and laugh in suspicion. This is one of the parts I smile the widest because this is detailed. Like they're like, yeah, 10 minutes here or 9 minutes here, 1 minute here. It's like, is it though?
We have the difficulty, we have the time. So if we hit the magic calculate button, again, just as a caveat, this is an illustrative tool. This is not the way that we work out EVR for all missions.
That solves it all.
That involves code and algorithms. But if you hit the magic button,
hit it,
then somebody knows how to write script.
There we go.
In Excel. And it makes a little pretty number. Now I know that there's a lot of people looking at that going, 4,000 UEC.
That's real cool. Appreciate you.
Ridiculous. What's the point? If you take into account, so
I know I ruined
if you
that.
were organized,
partially,
you
purposefully.
Maybe 5 of these.
I know what you're trying to do. No, I see what you're trying to do.
Okay. Or you could maybe even do a bit more if you had a
biggest finesse in gaming.
So,
the comparison is going to be a tricky thing right now because all anybody rightfully knows and understands is how it's been before.
Absolutely.
You know, as this begins to develop, a new scale will begin to emerge. As this continues to evolve, as this begins to grow, the idea of what 4,000 credits is will change 100%. Over time. Some people will embrace it, some people won't. Some people will punch chairs. Yeah, I'm on that. I just found out about it like 5 minutes before the show, so it's like new information to me.
Did Salty Mike really punch chairs that people are talking about?
To evolve and change and stuff like that.
We can actually illustrate that. So here's one I prepared earlier. If you just pick a slightly later one, supply late, okay, and so then we need a titanium one for supply late.
Might be losing it. He be punching chairs.
So somewhere around 300, 400 SCU. And this one is a multi-4. So what does that mean, multi-4?
That means that this mission has been generated to multiple locations in a single hull. So the one we've been doing and been discussing is you've got one location where you pick things up and one location where you drop things off. But actually, within
Like, when was he punching his chair and why?
Sometimes it's just more efficient to
Or is that
send
a regular
single
thing for him?
supply ship to either deliver or collect cargo from
Appreciate the follow,
multiple
Jose.
nearby outposts. So in this case, that's one of those examples
What on
where
earth?
you'll be asked to do a slightly more complicated mission. You've got to pick things up in one place. I believe this one will be from Seraphim Station, and then you've got to deliver it in any sort of different order. And that means, you know, the mission will be taking a bit
And that
longer.
means you've got to consider completely different things, like how do you pack, how do you load your cargo bay? If you're going to go to this place first, you don't want to put that in the middle.
Dude, the
Yeah.
chairs
You
are
wanna
big.
put that near an edge. So you have to actually think about the logistics.
sound that
of how
makes me
you're
punch
unpacking
infants.
and packing the cargo bay, and
Chair
what
might
will
call the
fit
cops one day, but who
and
knows? I
what you
mean,
do in
maybe.
order and that kind of stuff.
And that will become especially interesting once you find missions that ask you to deliver multiple commodities to multiple locations. Because what you can't do is pack, you know, all the titanium in the back and then, you know, all the iron or what it would be in the front. Because then once you arrive at your first location, they ask you for a little bit of titanium and a little bit of iron. Well, gotta undo it all and take it all again. So this really asks you to have knowledge of your ship and to understand how to do the logistics of putting things on your cargo grid.
Which is probably there's a lot of big changes in 324, but that's probably the one that
Yeah.
there are people who understand it. There, you know, there are people who understand it and understand the fundamental change that is to Star Citizen. But I still think it's going to surprise some folks. You know, it's like, oh, like now so many more tasks that were meaningless before now have additional weight, have additional importance to the overall experience.
Yeah.
And again, absolutely no number you ever see in ISC or SCL is ever the final number. Ever, 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 ever.
That's true.
We're always work in progress.
Okay.
So actually, this is a good example of a different one. So because we have a multi-4, we're in and
Promise
out
everything,
of...
tons of support is still in the work.
what?
Dr. Rath, they are currently in active development. So it won't be optimized. Like, for development of video games, optimization comes at the end. They still have a lot of things that they're adding to the game. So if it's something that, like, first things first, when was the last time you played? Second, a lot of the issues are server related, which they are working on the server this year. They're gonna, 4.0 is the next Star System they're planning on having in, and by then they're intending to have much better server connections, because a lot of the issues with frame rate, with glitches, a lot of that is server focused issues, or at least primarily the bottleneck there is the servers. So that's a thing that's going to be adjusted over time. But with the way that game development works, if they optimize now and then they add in another game mechanic, that ruins all the optimization that they've done. So then they have to go back and optimize again. And considering the fact that these are live servers that are being played on, they optimize it to where it can work well now without like going into the full optimization, because the minute they go full optimization and add more, things get broken. It becomes less playable than it was. It might get worse than it was originally. So typically the last part of game dev is the optimization process. So I would expect this to be optimized when it is done. And I don't think we're there yet. But they did just add in a bunch of new stuff to make it easier to run on a lot more PCs. They just added in FSR for all cards, DLSS for NVIDIA cards. They put the Vulkan rendering engine in. So you've got a lot of options as far as being able to play and get better frame rates. But a lot of what is happening as far as the issues is server related. Because if you have a server that has a bad frame rate, you're going to have a bad time. So that's part of the reason why the netcode is one of the next major updates they're adding, because they need that. The quality of life updates we just got in 3.23 is great, but they definitely need the server updates. As someone who's been playing for years, it's in a better state now than it was previously. Like, I remember Star Citizen was literally only 15 frames at best, but now you can solidly get 30 to 60, but they need those servers, and they need them soon. Definitely before we get Pyro. What's up, Safa? How you doing?
He says, don't go punching your chair over it. Sorry.
He is getting in.
Because we're in and out of orbit.
He is getting in on this dude.
We have to go to more places. This is no longer a zero risk of action. So I reckon there's a distinct possibility of some kind of PvE. I mean, you could get unlucky. You might get pirated by Burks or anyone else. Other pirates are available, Voidy. So you're going to need moments of intense concentration, I would say.
I actually look forward to the time where if you're going to take time to have a ship loaded, I hope two things. I hope one, you have to have the ship out, or at least visible, so that you can kind of look in on it being loaded. That would be great. I would love that. Give it another chance. Really want to play this game. See nothing like it, but that's the thing. Like there is. I don't think there's another game that is like it, and it is in active development. If the last time you played was before March, for example, they put a lot of quality of life updates in. There's a whole new mini map. There is a mini map now, and the whole map system got reworked. So definitely hop back in.
Your ship could get damaged, and you're going to need those mechanics. So that is now a medium. So
I love how they show how they calculate
ramp it up on the EVR scale, but also the time is different. So we did some quick calculations, and we think that in total, it would take you to deliver this cargo in 16 SCU boxes, which is what a
early access scares me. I feel like this game has been in early access far longer than the vast majority of early access games.
Now, if you had a crew, you might be able to do that quicker.
It is still in active development. They're still adding things to it, so I wouldn't worry too much about this one.
If you play the game better and smarter and faster.
Also, one of the big reasons this game has been taking so long is because they are making 2 games at once. A lot of people, I thought everybody knew this. And I'm finding out more and more that many people had no idea that they were making 2 games at one time. So, there's a lot that can be grabbed from that information. There's a lot to be known about the idea of this game still being in active development. There's too much.
You're going to do better.
And the fact that there's 2 games that they were making, nobody does that because it delays everything.
From seraphim down to up, down, up, down.
And you're going to need 4 downs, so 3 ups and 4 downs.
Yep.
And you're going to need 9 minutes of quantum travel in between.
Okay.
So that is pretty much an hour of gameplay for just that one mission.
Yep.
So if you press the magic button now, it's definitely not magic, it's just Excel. Okay, so that's how EVR scales. So you could do it quicker and faster with more people.
Michael's punching a chair on the Asmongold Reddit.
Then you could do it in less than an hour. And then you could afford to pay people.
What up, Isaac? YOLO indeed.
And you could do all manner of things if you think about it.
The calculate time is sort of like a par for the course.
That's a great analogy.
This is what we expect it to be. It's not that it can't take longer. It can.
Oh yeah.
It's not that it can't be done quicker. It
Absolutely.
can. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Par for the course would be this. And if you get a birdie or better, you're making more money.
Exactly.
Hey, what up, Marco? Welcome back.
I think that means we've now found out the numbers that I need.
4,250. The other one was 4,250.
All right. Do you remember the SCU?
Yes, I do, because it's definitely not written down on this piece of paper.
Agreed.
80 and 112.
More, even. Agreed. Because there's not many companies that go too deep into hey, look, we're late. This is why. Like,
go to the computer here.
This company will put a video out. Hey, look, these are the reasons why we ain't ready. We weren't ready to go. So here you go. Here's the deets.
We save it from
I love
here,
that.
And basically, that's
never seen that before. You're about to see it. We are watching Star
cargo.
Citizen Live. This is a video that they kind of go into the process of game dev. They spend a bunch of time talking about it. This actually shows them making a cargo mission. So I feel like once we get to about probably in the next 10 minutes or so, we'll probably hop in because we can watch the rest of that later. I did switch over to restart my game. Not really restart because I still have my main account. I have a secondary account that has nothing on it. So many people are just like,
you gotta spend silly money on this game.
No, I have an account that has a $75 package. That's it. And I'm not gonna add anything to that package ever. I'm not gonna buy anything. I'm not gonna buy any armor. I'm not gonna buy anything on that account. I don't want anybody to send me money when I'm in it. It's literally just me playing games, seeing how high we can get the money. If we can get money, how many ships we can get, what can we do over time. So hopefully the point of this to me is to just shut down the people that are just like,
you need to spend so much money on this game.
No, you don't. So
mission.
that's it.
So there's a
talking so
lot
much
more
anyways.
of these, a whole host of different records that the system can generate.
I've heard so many people talk about that. I've never done it, so let's see. Never done it longer periods of time.
I mean, this is the mission that we just discussed on the map, which is a hauling mission from Seraphim Station to the refinery, and that's what it would look like.
That's actually not too much different.
Yeah, that's correct.
All the numbers are fake.
So we can quickly go in game, so I can show you what that looks like.
Maybe we should just make sure that everything is right before we do that.
We downloading now? Hell yeah.
No, don't keep going.
It's all right. Okay.
I just gave David a little button he could push.
Normally, what we would do is, we would save this thing, boot the bootstrap, start the client. If you've seen Elliot's episode, then you know the whole shebang. But actually, we can find one that I made earlier.
Are you saying we're more organized than Elliot?
That's not hard.
Woof, no comment.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, good job. You can hide the. Just bring the letters back up when you feel like it's necessary.
This will be like 20.
So here we are on Seraphim Station, which is, as you know, the location where this mission can be found. And here in the contract app, we can see there's a new tab available now called Hauling. And there we go. That's our mission.
If we wait till the end,
It's existing right now.
Hour and 18 minutes.
You just click on the.
Yep.
Who's Jack Axton?
Who knows?
Who knows? Only Jack
26 minutes, but at 1.5 speed.
I'm serious. I don't know who that is.
It's a guy who makes YouTube videos.
Oh,
it's like 20 minutes.
Cargo hauling.
That's not too bad.
We know you. We've seen you. And this is a mission for you. Absolutely.
This is actually only for Jack.
I mean, it says in the description.
You gotta pay thousands to play. It's $45. Still don't gotta pay anything else.
Oh,
Nope,
Jack Axton
never.
is friends with Max Power. Got it.
Is it on Xbox or not? No.
So as you can
They
see,
mean
this is,
probably
sort of
the
what
next couple generations of
contract would look
Xbox.
like in your Moby class.
This is not going to be on
There's a new little
Xbox.
feature here
This is
which
PC only.
previews the different objectives that this mission
The
will,
single player game they're
provide
working
for you.
on
So, again, if it's a
might.
multi sort
It
of
has the
mission,
potential
there's
to
more
possibly hit
objectives will show up,
console,
but the mission
depending
that we
on
discussed
how
earlier-
well they optimize. But this game, I don't think this game will ever come to console. Because you can play with controller now, but like, I don't see. You can play this with controller, but I really don't see it being a thing that works well on controller over long periods of time. But shit, man, anything is possible.
which is moving
I could be wrong.
titanium ore from Seraphim Station to Crew L1.
Squadron 42 will be on console 100%. I'll be hard pressed to believe that it will not be on console, but I don't want to say like.
In a way, that's what we've been.
I don't want to
trying
say
do
that word.
for the last
It'll
20
be on
years or
console
so.
100% because
we're showing you the EVR algorithm. We're
that's
showing you some of the considerations that are made. As far as what the actual.
the minute that will be incorrect. Somebody's gonna come in here like,
DJ said I could play this on my Xbox. Ah!
no, I don't want to do that. It's too much. But yeah, the current hardware for Squadron or for Star Citizen, no. But I could see Squadron 42 coming to the PS5 and Series X after launch, after they've optimized, after bug fixes happen. Gonna do some contracts. Nice. 360
Lies.
on console via cloud systems for remote play, sure, maybe. But I'm still talking about like controls, because Kyron points out the thing that I'm thinking of: the keybinds.
Thing that quite honestly will always be in flux. You know, and anybody who's worked on an MMO in the past, anybody who's played an MMO for several years will tell you that an economy is an ever-changing, ever-fluctuating thing. And at the scale that we're attempting to simulate across multiple star systems and stuff, it will be here too. So whatever that number reads today will not be what that number is however many weeks or months after that, will not be however it is however many weeks or months after that. That is the virtue of quantum, which is, again, still a system in development, still where all this goes eventually. It's just, we're at a point now where it's like, 324 is so important to us, cargo's here. It's like, we don't have to wait until the finished thing to start laying the foundation of these new types of missions. We can use these other tools that we have. We can
True,
simulate all the
keyboard
same
and mouse can be
decisions, and
connected,
it's just a
but
matter of plugging it into the system.
how many people
when
are gonna do
when
that?
eventually comes online. So it's one of the more exciting aspects of 324.
I mean, it makes sense
all the
because
stuff and
literally
it's
they're just
the
mini
idea that
PCs,
we're gonna
but
have
still.
these more involved missions that
Squadron 42 on console has been playing for a while, according to High Level
that
Sig.
are
Star
generated based
Citizen's
on
great.
the need and
Nice.
stuff that you've been talking about. It's probably for me, it's the signature element of 324. And again, in 2 weeks on ISC, we'll be talking about some of the content that's coming in 324, including a whole bunch of these missions we'll be showing you and all that stuff.
We're actually also already thinking ahead of how this can tie into sort of an automated system in the future that basically robo-yorits me. So all of this, you know, the Miro that I've shown you earlier, all of this whole rule set of what needs to go where, that system can be automated somewhere in the future and then
Conform.
There's many working parts to the back end systems, which are variously called Quantum or StarSim or whatever they're called. And just like Jared said, this is an illustration of our intent. It's not the final working system.
Well, we will be trying to plug in, and we're going to get you a second computer, and we'll be trying to play this mission next week and actually show you live one of the new cargo missions that you'll be playing in 324. Vengeance is Mine says, do these cargo things have a buy-in?
No, because so originally the design for the cargo missions was, how are we going to make sure that players don't just decide this is a perfect opportunity to take a cargo grid of stuff for themselves?
Hate keyboards, only use
So
controller.
they need a buy-in. But of course,
Awesome.
that feels just the same as...
What should I do when I first get to playing? I'm also confused. I feel like there is a tutorial, so definitely start the tutorial, do the tutorial, and then do some box missions, some delivery missions.
Long, complex logistical exercises. If
That'll
you
be the
also
thing
have to
that I
risk
feel
a
like
huge
helps
amount
the
of money
most.
to do that at the same time, you fail once.
So that way you can get used to
the
flying,
whole
doing
design was
things,
changed to allow this to be an environment that people could play and
turning in
thrive
boxes,
if they
because
follow
there's
rules.
some
But
steps
if they
that
didn't
it
wanna follow
takes
the
a while to
rules,
get
then
used
because it's
to.
a sandbox, people will do whatever they will do. And the interesting thing is that these are not mission boxes. These are real commodity boxes and that are being transported.
There's no
And
DLC
so
out? Not
if
yet.
you were to misappropriate those boxes and do something else with them, they would
Or
be considered
update,
stolen
should I say.
cargo.
The
and
new
they are
update out
marked
is
as owned by
3.23
corporations
came out a
that
while
will be
back,
them to
like
transport.
a month or two,
So
but
you
the
would
next
have
one
to
is
sell them at a fence, and you wouldn't be getting getting full market value for.
3.24.
Yeah, because even fences consider these cargo containers to be high risk. Everybody knows that they are originating from sort of a reputable source. These major corporations of Stanton are basically trading above our heads, and really whenever they need you, they'll just sort of hire you as a space trucker, which means a fence location that gets their hands on these, chances are they'll probably give you a significant portion less.
So the DLC, that's good. Yeah, there's... With Star Citizen, it's always going to be updates. This is an MMO, and I don't know if they're ever going to have a situation where they add in enough stuff to where they're going to do DLC. But that's Squadron 42. J-News with the Ray. Thank you very much. Hope you're having a good one, fam. You know the rules. You know who J-Muse is. I'm just literally, if you know who J-Muse is, why are you not following J-Muse? I'll give you a minute. I'll even put on some wait music. Oh, yeah, baby. We're giving you a minute to go and do what you need to do to go follow J-Muse. Yeah. That's what we're here to do, baby. That's it. Literally, that's it. Go do it.
Someone cooked here.
And it was Jay. Jay Cook. Also, hi, how you doing? I'm DeejayKnight. We're going to be playing some Star Citizen shortly. We're watching Star Citizen Live, where they talked about the latest updates and the new updates that are becoming for cargo in the game very shortly. Thanks to one of my mods, Warrell, he suggested we watch it at 1.5 speed, which I didn't know that I was going to be comfortable doing, and I did. It's just so much better. Watch, because we got things to do. So we're going to finish watching this, and then we're going to slide into some Star Citizen in my Zero to Hero account, which is just an Avenger Titan, and we're going to see how much we can do. And then we got Squadron, well, not anything. We have, what's the word? Let me calm down. Flagship Friday at like 2 p.m. So we're going to be here for about an hour, and we're going to be sliding out. So thanks for coming to hang out. We get back to the video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. All I ask of you is 5 minutes. Maybe you might think to yourself,
this dude is an absolute piece of...
Depending on the day, I might agree. But 5 minutes. Maybe you might like me, maybe you don't. I don't know. We'll see.
Talking about the differential.
How come to meet players regularly?
Yeah, specifically hauling missions. Yeah.
Not everybody wants to ice other players.
New type of mission that do not have the buy-in. The original missions that require those command missions still exist, and we'll still be making more and more of those. We got a whole other star system to fill, and then another one after that. Those missions don't go away. These are a new type of mission that exists alongside those.
Buy-in is a completely valid mechanic, and it's useful for certain archetypes, but we didn't want to use buy-in for hauling missions.
Because this allows us to essentially build the hauling experience for even the early game, where usually sandbox commodity trading would require you to already have capital, as we mentioned before. Here you can go ahead and accept some of these space trucker missions from the corporations. And at the beginning it will be sort of low value, low risk kind of thing. But after a while, they'll really start counting. And after a while, maybe you'll be comfortable.
Aviators or Flames, appreciate
starting your own freelance business and going off and buying commodities in the sandbox.
So what does happen? You've accepted
Titanfall is so good.
You haven't had to put up any capital up front. You've now collected all of these boxes, and say you do lose one, or one gets damaged, or whatever.
Yep.
What happens to you?
So, nothing ever goes wrong in Star Citizen. I mean, you literally, stairs are fine, right? But just in case something did go wrong, just in case something did go wrong.
A pirate comes by,
for example, a pirate.
But the commodities have real values.
Yeah, or maybe the cargo grid misbehaves, or whatever. Or maybe you run out of time. Maybe you decide that you're definitely going to do that supply late mission in your Aurora.
Yeah, these companies expect their cargo to be moved within a reasonable deadline.
So
Steel Battalion
you have, the
is what I think you're talking about, Karen.
Complete the mission early, essentially.
They had a massive
button, and if you press the complete
mech
button,
controller.
What it will do is the mission will take where you currently are at, and it will submit that as your best effort. And then you will get a partial reward in terms of money and reputation if you do well enough. And if you don't do well enough, you will get a partial slap on the wrist in terms of reputation. So if you decided to mislay 80% of your cargo grid's worth of titanium, then the people who asked you to transport it probably wouldn't be offering you that mission again anytime soon.
So you take a rep hit.
Right.
You might make a little money out the side fencing it,
right,
but you're going to take a rep hit, and your future opportunities from that particular guild will be diminished.
Correct.
Exactly.
Okay. So yeah, that is essentially it.
We got a few more minutes. Who else got some questions? Let's see. Will there be possible small extras that mission givers can give in addition to UEC, like small gifts, or if you have good standing, a 6-pack or some food, super small staff that makes mission givers feel like people that sometimes throw in a non-monetary bonus. So basically mission rewards besides just money. I think this is, from the birth of the mission system, this has been the #1 top tier, most requested thing, and we started to see the very first bits of that with Xenothreat and Operation Overdrive. We started to see quest rewards beyond just the UEC. Can this be expected at some point for us?
So I don't want to speak to the entire progression system because that is a design owned by someone else, but EVR is designed to handle any kind of reward. So maybe.
I believe we mentioned in the CitizenCon that the reputation system will be including this sorts of rewards depending on the kinds of guilds.
I can just go ahead and say, he won't speak for it, but I can go ahead and say that yes, obviously the reputation-based rewards through the organization system are one way in which you'll receive items that are not just money, but also there is an ongoing effort to evolve the mission system itself to be able to just outright award items beyond just money. So when that gets used, where that gets used, that's going to be the discretion of the game design team and the folks who are creating the missions and stuff. But the tech is there, and it's being worked on, and you should see more of that, just like you saw with the Overdrive and Xenothreat stuff in the near future, or in a future. I honestly have no idea when.
Shout out to Luke Presley making the...
it may never happen. It may happen next Thursday. I don't know, man. We'll find out. We'll see. We'll see.
It sound like he died.
About the same exact thing.
That said, these missions also aren't just built by the mission design team and the economy team in a vacuum.
No, absolutely.
The whole reason why you might remember seeing Elliot Malt be on the stream building a mission previously, he had to open up the subsumption editor to do the node-based logic and that sort of stuff. These cargo hauling missions have been completely built.
Right, like it's like we get so much more information so much faster. I am here for the 1.5 speed.
Team Dave. For helping out and setting up all the the logic and the code in the back end.
CGP6, we've got to get better at naming things.
Core Gameplay Team 6.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it right now. And also thanks to Team Chat, of course, for building the freight elevators, because without those, this wouldn't even be possible.
Yeah, for sure.
This bothers me, so I'm going to reveal it. There was an effort made to give all these teams really cool names, but nobody could decide whether they wanted to be named after corporations or named after vehicles, like Team Anvil or Team Valkyrie and stuff like this. And because we couldn't get a consensus, that's why they're still called GPC6. Okay, that's just some dirty laundry, and it upsets me still that we don't have the cool names. And so, as far as we talk about the types of things that you could haul, somebody in the chat, unfortunately his name is scrolled by, I've lost it. He asked, how big a thing are we talking about? Could there conceivably be delivering vehicles and stuff like the whole haul of the new Aurora is some other place for sure.
Right.
So we do have a design for hauling vehicles, but that won't be for this release. Currently, for the release, we're basically making use of the different sort of resource containers. So that will mean anywhere from 1 SEU to, I believe, 16 SEU. Is that right? 32 as well. Yeah. So that means it's basically all sorts of shapes and sizes and organizations to do within the cargo grid.
Fury Force says delivering rocks to mining outposts. Rocks, maybe. Nobody would order a rock to guess.
Food?
All right, I thought literally meant delivering rocks to mining outposts. I was like, surely a mining outpost would have loads of rocks already. Why would they need rocks?
They want to ship out all the rocks.
Baibu says, let's do the mission, Jared, next Friday. Basically, we've only got a few minutes left before we have to wrap up this week, so there's not enough time to even get started. So we play in a local bootstrap version of the game. It takes a bit longer to load up and stuff. Plus, we're going to get a second computer in here next week, so we're going to make Nick and Yort couldn't decide who the better player was, so I'm just going to make them both play the mission. It won't be me, I'm terrible. Any new commodities you can tease? I know we're talking specifically about the cargo missions, but there been any new commodities?
I think there are, but I couldn't tell you what they are, but Connor would know. But I think there are new commodities, yes.
Are there new commodities unique to Pyro?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Connor is your man for that. He knows everything about that.
Why are you on the other side of the planet?
No, we are trying to make use of as many commodities as possible, which is why I went through every single one in the game, and I tried to make sense, building this whole infrastructure, figuring out what should go where, which means you might actually come across some commodities that you haven't seen before. For example, we've definitely got some missions set up where you're moving quantum fuel, hydrogen fuel, ship ammunition, and that turns out that this is actually the commodity that is being removed from a location whenever a player lands at a hangar and asks for a refuel and a rearm.
I will say that there are commodities specific to Pyro. I know that much.
Right. We've had a mission or two in the past where
I do look forward to seeing what those exclusive commodities of Pyro are.
If we ever revisit that, like, could one of these cargo missions be like, yeah, I got the ship, it's all loaded, I just don't have a pilot to fly it for me. Do we have a space for something like that?
This is something that I actually spoke about with some other designers, and we decided to not do that this time because there are a lot of different kinds of considerations that come with that. For example, what if you damaged a ship? Currently, that would probably get you a crime stat because you're damaging somebody else's vehicle, just like you would do another player. Would you have to deliver that vehicle back to the owner in some way? And that adds a whole bunch of different steps and considerations for the loss system.
You could rent. If you didn't own the ship, you could rent the ship.
I mean, that's essentially what it is. It's just a question of, you basically have the mission giver basically rent you the ship, and so it is yours to the time being. So,
yeah, for sure.
So, time's up, Jared. No, we still got time. Will we see NPC ships also making these same
move or even chocolate?
Transfers just run in the background.
So that's actually a StarSim quantum conversation.
Is travel as long as Elite dangerous at all? Depends on how you're trying to travel. Like quantum travel is.
What you're essentially asking is, will NPCs?
The way that they have travel in Star Citizen is you are a person moving through space. Quantum travel exists, so like a high-speed travel, like how Elite has if you're jumping from system to system, and then how you're moving between planet to planet, or between coming up to a planet, getting close, but you can also just power away and fly out. Those exist in Star Citizen in similar ways, but if I need to go from one side of the star system to the other side of the star system and I haven't upgraded my engine, it's going to take a while. So That's one of the things I like about it, because there is no like immediate fast travel. It's like you can travel faster than normal, but even when you look on the map while you're traveling, you will see where you are in the star system compared to the sun, compared to the other planets, compared to the, like, not stars, like asteroid fields or whatever. Travel takes time, and I'm a fan of it personally.
Essentially the question you're asking, and the answer is it depends.
Yeah, and that's been in the quantum design forever. I'm still not used to calling it star sim. There will be a selection of them that are physicalized, and then the overwhelming majority of them will not be, just because there's no use taking the performance hit for that. Right. So the answer to how many will almost certainly come down to a performance thing. As the game continues to evolve, and as server meshing comes online, and we start seeing the various performance improvements that we get from that, as all the game systems are hardened and developed in line with server meshing, and those begin to harden, we start to see all these performance improvements that I swear we're all dying for it just as much as you are. That will determine how many of those other ones we can physicalize and put in there and stuff. Because there's not a person who works here that doesn't want to see that line of ships leaving Area 18 and going up into orbit and hitting quantum and stuff. We all want it. But it will always come down to a question of, do we have that or do we have another player? And we're always going to pick another player first. So that's not a question we have an answer for. There will be some amount. We couldn't tell you how many.
That's actually super interesting that you say another player, Jared, because these missions will tend to concentrate players. Yeah. So because the routes are grade specific and the grades are ship specific, then you will tend to find traffic of a certain type on certain routes.
Yeah.
So
the chances are that as more players become available on a server, you'll see actual sort of shipping lanes and logistical
distribution
supply
centers.
lines. Exactly, all of that sort of form and actually it being player driven.
Glitch Loading says, will there be bounties for when goods are stolen from a cargo mission?
Oh.
Well, because it's real cargo, you being the cargo hauler do have the option, assuming it hasn't glitched out the ship and disappeared forever, you do have the option of retrieving your cargo if you can retrieve it, because it is specific cargo for your mission that you need to deliver. It isn't the case yet that you could just replace your missing iron with some other iron.
That would be a different mission type. That would be resource gathering coming in the future, where you're basically asked to just provide them with an item or a commodity from anywhere in the universe.
That's not stolen.
Yeah, probably not.
Unless you can scratch the bin off. Chris talked about that too.
Could be a thing.
I like the conversation of scratching bins exists. Appreciate the follow, Doc.
So if you get pirated on one of these missions, you could totally ask a friend who's a really good shot to come out and follow the baddies and get your cargo back before the time runs out.
Or you could just negotiate.
Sure.
Glitch was just asking if it would automatically generate a bounty mission kind of thing.
I mean, it sort of does, because if the infraction is above a crime stat 3, then a bounty gets generated. So in a way, because it's systemic, the actions of
hearing this music sped up is just nice. I like it.
This is one of our first times having Nick. The first, you've done one SCL before, and then your first ISC will air in about 2 weeks and stuff like this. But you talk with everybody's demeanor is different. Nick has the trauma that only a developer can have. You can see this, the players, who play Star System, they've got all their own stories and how many times they've 30K, how many times they've been killed by an elevator and stuff. Developers have a whole other special kind of trauma of just, why doesn't this work? Not even there's another bug that's causing it to work. I just coded this, it should work. Why doesn't it work? And I appreciate how you've hedged some of your answers to gosh, if that thing works, yeah, you should be able to do this. And gosh, if that thing works, that's how we don't put spokespeople in front of the camera and stuff. We just get the real people. And I hope you all appreciate that as much as I do.
It worked on my machine.
Let's see. Will cargo? The cargo will have a mark like they do now with smaller boxes.
A mark?
A mark.
A mark.
I think all of them. A mark? What are you talking about?
Hauling mission cargo from player-bought commodity cargo. You will be able to differentiate that visually.
Okay.
Currently, you can do that using a tractor beam, where it will actually give you information about the different kinds of things that you're moving.
A
So
mark.
you'll have information about the commodity that you're moving, but also it should mention whether it's contracted or not. And then further in the future, we're looking into making that information available with your ship scans as well. Yeah. So if you're a pirate, you scan a ship. In the future, you should be able to differentiate.
Not just pirates. You could be an escort.
Sure. You should be able to distinguish what cargo is worth taking and what isn't.
All right. Well, that about does it for our time. Thank you so much, York,
for
taking the time to put this together. We'll be back, some weirdness notwithstanding, next week to actually play through one of the missions live. This will be your first chance outside of Tech Preview channel stuff to actually see one of the new cargo missions of Star Citizen played live. And then the following week, you'll see ISC, where we'll showcase a couple different ones and a much more compact kind of version of what we're doing these 2 weeks. So like this. If you haven't, check out this week's Inside Star Citizen. Yesterday's episode was our How We Work special on the level design team. Lots of great looks at some aspects of Pyro that you haven't seen, as well as a really nice discussion about taking the lessons we learned in Stanton and applying them to Pyro. And I know I've seen a lot of the comments like, "Are you going to apply those lessons back to Stanton?" We sure hope so. It's just a matter of priority.
We sincerely hope so.
And then last week, our Meet the Team weapon content special. So bad it makes people punch the chair even before they've seen a frame of film.
All right, so we got to click that link that was in chat earlier, because
that's a new chair.
If he's punching chairs, making fun of. Salty Mike, we got to click the link there.
Next Thursday, that's one that'll probably make.
Vet Raptor posted it earlier. I'm clicking that link because we got to see it now.
That's our Dev Diary episode, where we invited members of the UK networking team to basically tell us all about the 7 major tech preview tests that have gone on between November 2023 and April of this year, where the very first server meshing stuff and the first server recovering stuff. It's basically just them telling you how it went and stuff, but it doesn't really look like anything. So it's a Dev Diary. We're gonna try a thing, and then we'll be back with these guys. So. You have a week to prepare yourself for an ISC with no B-roll. Punch your chair, punch your friend's chair. Just go to Florida and... I'm sorry. You just told me about it like 5 minutes before the show, and I hadn't seen it, I didn't know about it, and it was just right there in the front of my brain. Don't punch your chairs, people. There's better ways.
Chairs have feelings too.
Chairs have feelings too.
For Star Citizen Live, that's Yort, that's Nick, I'm Jared. Come back next week where we'll actually play a mission live, and we'll see you then. Take care, everybody.
I'm looking forward to seeing them play the mission they just made. Now, mind you, to be fair, if we're gonna be like on the cynical side of things, right? Like, it could be like, and they made this mission, right? They just did this to say that they were making a mission. It's like, it's fully possible, but do we want to go with that? It feels better than the idea of like they made it, and then they just literally in a week made it, because it shouldn't take longer than a week to make a mission. And because they kind of did the work for both of those, maybe they just like, since they recorded it, they could just make both of the versions. The easy one and the hard one. We'll see. But I know we have the game right here. And I feel like it's a great time to actually go in and load it up. Now, what am I looking for? Oh, the link for the chair punching.
ISC will be a bit...
Furious Star Citizen streamer Salty Mike violently attacks his chair in a hissy fit upon hearing the news that something.
For the next 3 weeks, ISC will be a bit different than you might normally expect.
3 weeks?
That means we're going to spend a little more time than normal getting to know the folks themselves, as opposed to just what they're working on. Things like...
What is SCL for then? What have we been doing at SCL for years?
It's like asking the UK networking team
Okay.
to film a sort
Impressive. Sometimes you got to punch shit out your chairs, man. Sometimes them chairs got to get that work. He even took time to square the chair up, right? He's like, let me line this up. I'm about to punch shit out this chair. I actually like this. I've launched Star Citizen so many times on my other account that it never asks me more than just to click accept. But now, like, hey, look, man, we got to make you scroll through this. You got to see this for yourself. This is just the EULA. And then there's the, hey, this game isn't done. This game is in early access right now. Don't expect a finished game. Don't expect it to be done. Please and thank you. Cause reasons. And it just makes sense, man. That just makes sense. Oh, Gang Beasts is happening. Half an hour. What can we do in Star Citizen in a half an hour? Can we get all the stuff we want to get done? At least just the initial stuff. I don't have to do the tutorial or anything. But like, what can we do? Because scrolling means you read any word other than watching that accept button light up. Yeah, still. I remember that I met somebody who was working on a thing where they were like, hey, we are trying to update EULAs into like comics. And I would have loved to see that. I would have loved to seen it. I would have loved to seen it. Or Ibukati, I feel like I'm in Ibukati. I just never play Ibukati until I get concerned or until I get found out that I can play it on stream. Because I don't play as much until I'm streaming. Verify your login credentials and do it again. All right, cool. So basically log out of the launcher and log back in. Log out. How dare you make me log out? But it happens. Oh well. Now I gotta do this again? How dare you? Also, I can't like click to play the music while they're doing that.
Rude. This is the way.
Very rude. But yeah, I wish there was a way to like, at this point, it actually would make sense. Somebody should probably make a ChatGPT bot to take an end user license agreement and rephrase it in short sentences. Take it out of legalese. delegalize this EULA, rephrase this EULA into words that make sense to non-lawyers. Please and thank you. Please and also thank you. Thank you. All right, so 19005. Let me see what a new player would have to deal with if they had error 19005. So let's find out. Logged out, restarted, signed out, closed. Simple version with a legal version toggleable. Right? Like, why is that not even a thing? That hurts. Ooh, verify game files. I hadn't done that yet. I'd literally be telling people to do this. Verify. You can make me click accept on the EULA to verify my game files. You're rude. How rude are you? So what happened? What's going on with Evo? Jacques. Verify's been completed. Let's do it again. Come on down. I can't wait to log in and actually have it saved so that I can stop doing that. Oh, launcher. I could just completely restart the launcher. Bro's not a happy camper. Oh, the puncher. Yeah, he was not happy about any of that. Not happy at all. All right, so launcher relog. Let's force close and restart the launcher. Also, where's that? There's that music. I was like, if that's not the launcher, what music are we even listening to right now? Ah, yeah, this is a different EULA. Boom, 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 boom. Boom 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 boom. Come on, let go. Open up the game. 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 Ah. We didn't get the error this time, so just needed to restart the launcher. Bet. And now, thank goodness to the new, oh my goodness, this new character creator made life so much nicer. Ooh. Oh, that's cool. All right, bet. Y'all can vote if we're gonna survive the next scene over on the clock. So obviously we're starting with your mans. Now, I love that since it's in the same install folder as my main, I just literally can load my previous. I feel like this is probably the best version of myself I've made in a video game to this day. To this day! Like, that looks legitimately like my dad right now. Like, a lot like me. Like, the second we get locks in the game, it's happening. Like, putting them Jones in immediately. I may update and add something different about the mustache, so there's at least some kind of beard. I just don't like that there's no like what if I wanted to have the top mustache and the goatee? Like, why is that not a choice? Can I not select multiple of these? Like, let me get that mustache and this. Like, let me get this and this together. Like, come on, man. Meet me in the middle a little bit. Also, why is my hair different? What did I click another hair? Quit playing, quit playing, quit playing. Boom, 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 boom. This is almost a great tool for me to be able to see how I would look with certain hairstyles. See, that one's connected. I can't connect my hair. That one looks like Stone Cold almost. Like an old school, like this belongs in Red Dead or something. It looks like my name is Jedediah or something. Boom, 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 boom. See, how come this one gets to add a mustache to it? I can't wait for them to update this because I need a mustache I need a mustache and a goatee, like a mix of both. Because I want this one, but it's still not exactly the way I want it. Let me see, adjust this this chin a little bit. That's better. We'll make do with that. So that way it's like like, what was Bender's brother's name in Futurama? Like Destro or something weird. It's like the same name, but not. DJ Prime V2. Skip the tutorial. We know how to play Star Citizen. And since we don't have to worry about spawning near, I want to spawn at Orson, but I want to be able to get a ground vehicle. So let's spawn at New Babbage. It's going to be nicer than Hurston. And then best server. Play it out, 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 play it up, play it up, play it up, play it up, play it up. Play it up. Blah, blah, blah. Now I put this in the way of chat. I'm silly. My bad. When's the next free flight? That's a great question. I feel like it's probably going to be when Pyro finishes. Like when if they get 4.0 knocked out for Pyro soon. Like by the time we get to like the end of summer, like guaranteed is going to be one around the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, which happens in like October-ish time frame. But I feel like if they can get done with the 4.0, they might do it a little early. I would prefer it if they get it done. They let people who've been playing the game for a while play, and let them servers get smooth. And then once they've put a patch or two out, then, and only then, should they put it out to everybody. So that way people got a chance to play it before everybody and their mom hops into the servers if they're not sure that it's going to be buttery smooth. If that makes sense. So did I scroll this all the way back down? Okay, I did. Good, good, good. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. Ba-da-ba-da. Okay, so now we stand up. So yeah, once we get the next update, that's gonna be fixed. Now, here's the question: does it keep? Ooh, it keeps my camera angles. Okay. Options, comms, VoIP, and head tracking. Since this is an account that I haven't done it yet, scroll it down. Yes. 1080p 60 face cam, calibrate. Oh man, now I gotta adjust my camera because that is not close enough. Rude. All right, so let me open up the hub. Not that hub. And then camera. We got the raid from Kamikaze Lots. Appreciate you, Kamikaze. How you doing, fam? Thank you for bringing the community by. Hello, hello, hello.
DJ!
Yeah. He even breathed. Wonder what that breathing was about. Welcome back to the Night Court League. 23 months of sub support.
This is the way.
Appreciate you, fam. That's a long time to be supporting the stream. I am honored that you would do it at all, let alone to have done so for almost 2 years. I appreciate it greatly, greatly, greatly. And now we got to get ready to get back in our verse. So let's get this situated. So that way we got our face nice and zoomed in. Ooh, oomy zoomy. There we go. 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 Hey, you know how weird it feels to not have any armor? Like this is all I have. This is all I have in the inventory. The secondary account will do it. How's the citizen? Nice, fam. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Rude. Let's see what we got. How was your stream? What are we up to? Thanks for bringing the community by. What is that? I don't even know what it is. I just know it's on the ground, and if they don't want it, I'm gonna take it. Cause free. I like free stuff. Oh, that's nice. We can't even store it because we don't have a backpack. Hey, yo. That is super powerful in and of itself. Like I don't have a backpack on, so I can't put anything on. Now that's the arc light. That's the arc light. This is not. So can we just put it in unequipped? I may just have to store it. Get out of this view. Get close. Inventory. Angle down. Just drag this in. Done. And sell them somewhere. Playing the PlayStation 1 JRPG Azure Dreams. I haven't even heard that name in ages. Nice. Climbing the tower and raising monsters. Hey, do what you do. How much water is in this? Because I don't think I want to drink somebody else's water. Watch it be empty. Man, I wasn't trying to do that yet. Ah, well, too late. All right, if you're on the clock, we put a vote up. Will I survive this scene? And we don't know yet. Maybe we won't. Because I know a lot of people are talking about these elevators be dropping through me. Be dropping me through them. So maybe we get dropped through the elevator. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Jog it out. All right, so let me check my inventory real quick. Like, see how much money we got. 25K. Oh, snaps. Got a decent amount of money. All right. Let go. Contracts. Let's see what we got. I'm not bounty hunting anything yet. I'm not salvaging anything yet. Investigation. They did move this to unverified. It's not here yet. We need to go closer to the other side of the system. Delivery. No, I'm not doing any of those. Delivery mission. UDM delivery eval. Oh, Cleo. You know what? I'll do it. Oh, dude, Inside Out 2 is great. I hope you enjoy it with the fam. I imagine you're gonna, because if you like the first one, you'll like this one. Let me hit Kelto up real quick, because I should probably put some kind of armor on instead of the non-existent armor that we are currently wearing. All right, so let's see. Microtech t-shirt. I don't like the Venture armor, but I mean, it's something. Also, I may be highly disappointed
Smart buy.
in what's here, but I'm gonna try it anyways. All right, so let's get out of here. Let's try it again. Let's get this armor on. This armor, brand new armor. We look fancy then a mug. Nice and fancy. All right, cool. We get that arc light. Put it on. Put it on. Why are you not putting this on? Put it on. Put it on. All right, so now we actually have some base level armor. Something is better than nothing. We got to put that med pin on. We got to put the pistol battery on. All right. And is that another arc light? No, that's the LH86. Ooh, the multi-tool. Let me buy this right now. And then the tractor beam. Nice. Is your man's lips move while you talk? He is. I have it set up where we're using FOIP, which is Face over IP. It is literally the webcam window that I have popped up. It tracks your face in real time and then just pushes that over to your character. So yeah, it's part of the reason why most of the time when I play Star Citizen, I will turn my camera off because I don't feel like I need it anymore. Like, my character can convey my emotions almost as nicely as I can. Like, I know I need to shave my mustache for it to be perfect, but no, it still works good enough in my opinion. All right, so now that we got those, whoa, I didn't mean to buy that. I mean, I feel like I already bought it though, so there's that. And then can we store it? And come over here. Matter of fact, let's get a bottle of water too, out of principle. All right, so let me make sure we put those in this inventory. Make this multi-tool, put it on the hip. Get this fancy little bit, put it on the multi-tool. I feel like it's already in there. We'll put the water in the armor. And now we're good. I don't even know what that is. So I feel like now we're holding on to, we got our gear. Okay, cool. It did equip. Bet. So it's just an way to put up a side window with your character's face. That'd be perfect. It would. It would. So it's like always you get to see like what a webcam is. Like it's like a VTuber situation. Without like ruining everything. All right, so this is the spaceport. So let's go to the spaceport. We only have like 10 minutes, so I don't think we may not have enough time to finish it, but I'm gonna try. We're taking closer to 20 minutes. I feel like we should be able to knock out a mission within 20 minutes. So hopefully we're good. We'll find out. And then we'll raid Bad News Baron, and then we're gonna be playing some Gang Beasts. Gang Beasts. Gang Beasts.
Capsule now approaching station. Stand clear of disembarking passengers.
Get in. Peter. Get on. We're in the nice little trammy tram. We in the nice little trammy tram. We in the tram. Sometimes you gotta be in the tram, man. I don't make the rules. Not at all. I don't make them. I'm just living by them. You know what I'm saying? I think you know what I'm saying. I didn't even realize it. With my armor in my current fit, I actually match my Avenger Stalker. Or like my Avenger Titan. Because the Titan is white and black. So like now I'm rocking the white and black gear. Like, let's go. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate the follow, Vermilion. Thank you very much. Alright, so let me see. Man, I have all these set to something. Interesting. I don't want to move any of those. I like them all. This one I actually could move back and down a little bit so we can get a proper like fit view. Fit check, Lego. Oh, snaps, fit check. Look at your boy. Fit check, fit check, fit check, fit check. Hey. All right, we got a new poll up on the clock. If you're trying to vote in it, will I survive this mission? Vote with your green gem things. Come on. To the terminal we go. To the terminal we go. To the terminal we terminal we go. Aye, we out. 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 Out.
Your belongings belong to you. Keep a careful watch on all personal items.
All right, jogged it out. We're on the ship. We at the ship. Port to call our ships up. Port to call our ships up. So weird to only see one ship in here, but I love it. All right, now it's been delivered. I gotta update the skin. So go to vehicles. Select the Titan. Liveries. We got the olive green and then the camo. Look at the camo, man. Look at the camo, man. Like the olive green is nice. But the camo though.
Has a lot going on today.
Save changes and equip. Let go.
Welcome.
I'm no longer matching my ship. I like the olive green. I played Shifu. Shifu is great. I have it.
Vehicle has been delivered to the
I need to play it. Come on. All right, to 4 we go. Gang, 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 gang. Look at it. I no longer match my ship. I'm sad about that a little bit, but that drone looks nice. That drone looks nice. I'm looking forward to the next pass that they do for this because I need the buttons to be in specific locations on my ship. Also, they need to add the lights to this, man. I'm spoiled by the Crusader ships. Close the door. So yeah, we got a decent amount of cargo space back here. And now we hop in, and now we hop in, now we hop in and go and go. Now we hop in. Don't forget on TikTok, we do have a vote up. Will we survive? That's a good question. I don't know yet. You got options. Let me hit that flight ready. Request docking.
You are clear to launch.
I know we're clear to launch. Let go. This is my favorite ship, this one. It's part of the reason why my second account only has this ship.
Launch complete.
Like, in my opinion, this is probably the best of the starter ships. Like, it's a pretty ship. You also have the ability to hop into the cockpit and through the cargo bay. So for me, that is literally the reason for the season. All right, put the cruise on, go up. Like the idea that all of this is already loaded and we just kind of stream it in or out. Oh no, no! Also, this is a way to test to see how the 30K handling is working. We can find out real quick, like, is it gonna work? Well then, let's find out. Because typically these actually get fixed nowadays. I'm gonna keep the fancy holographic ramp air button. It's an Aegis exclusive. Come on, game, come on. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, game, come on. Got a server error at the same time as you. Also, they must be having a big server issue. I wonder if they're putting Iwakati live, like pushing Iwakati out. That would make sense. 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 Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. That would make some sense. That would make some sense. That would make sense. Can we move the camera? No, I was gonna zoom in. Oh, wait. Oh yeah, I love the fact that the server is still live. Like, people are still talking in chat. There we go. That is wild that that exists, that it recovers. Even if, like, right now it's still not fully there. Like, it's almost there. And we're still moving. Alright, there we go. Got control back. Them clouds are gorgeous, man. Alright, so we need to go to... Oh, do I not have the contract anymore? Come on. Sadness. Sadness. Suspect apprehension certification. Can I actually take somebody out? Could I win in a battle with a stalker? Let's find out. Let's science all of this. Now that poll really is going to be valuable. Will I survive? Shall I survive? Blah, la, la, la. Oh yeah, the server still is not back up yet. Not fully. But that is still cool that, like, the contracts may be broken, but we can still fly around if we want. That's kind of a good way to be. It's better than the alternative. Now, can we get to Crusader from here with this ship? It's gonna take all our guys. Actually, let's go to Crusader. Stop off at Seraphim. So cancel route. Route to Seraphim? Routing not available. There we go. Alright, cool. Route set. Neutralize Green Griffin. Oh wait, so it did accept the target for neutralizing this dude. I just don't see where dude is. Oh, untracked track. See, now I can cancel my quantum and then see where this dude is. Oh wow, he's actually in Crusader anyways. Great. Come on. That actually works out nicely that I was randomly going to the place that I needed to go. Schmoove. It's not letting me go outside of the ship for camera anymore. That's interesting. This is one of my favorite parts. While we're flying, we out. Picking me your server. Nice. This is one of my favorite parts. You get the maps. This is new. Like, you can see the doors in your ship, but like, you just get to see your position. Like, we started in Microtech, and you can actually see in real time how far we're moving away from microtech. Have you verified your number? I'm sorry that is the case. I only have that in there to keep us from getting racist bots for all intents and purposes. We've had many over time, and they suck when it happens. So that's the thing, which hurts. Bet. I reported an issue that we had with Supermarket Sim yesterday, where anytime I was typing, it would refresh the chat. Come to find out, the numpad 5 was the issue. So like, the developer of that mod changed it to like F5. That's beautiful. Ooh, so it does still work. It's just quantum is just like iffy. So it looks like max for headroom a little bit. Uh-oh. I was about to say, like, wait, maybe we can't get in. Sorry about that. No worries. This is Star Citizen. Yes, it is.
Bottom fuel at 75%.
It's not a thing that is like life-changing or anything, but it is a situation where on occasion people come in and they're racists and they just like, let me type chat.
I'm just gonna be a dick in chat.
It's the worst. So by having people verify their numbers, it minimizes that nonsense. So I'm sorry that it was a problem for you, but I'm glad that you're here. And also, it is 1:57. I thought we would be able to make it across the system in time. I was incorrect. Like, we are not even, like, about a third of the way of where we need to go. There's no way we're going to be done with this in 3 minutes. So I'm going to have to dip in space or just leave it up in the background because it is time to raid Bad News Baron for Flagship Friday. As always, fam, your presence is a present. I appreciate the gift. There are tens of thousands of streams you could have gone to, and you decided to come to this one. For that, I am greatly and truly appreciative. I'm honored that you would show your face at all. And we're going to show some love to Bad News Baron, who is currently playing, I don't know what he's playing. We're about to be playing Gang Beasts. So let's go show him some love. Make sure I double check. So I feel like it's supposed to be getting Bad News Baron. And if I go to the wrong channel, I'll be big mad. Because then, like, what if he's already rated somebody else? All right, cool. Bad News Baron. All right. Be easy, fam. We'll see you in Flagship Friday. Love your faces. Love your butts. See you soon.